purpose.
I will be back momentarily, everyone. 2 minutes. Rejoice, comrades. Give me a minute. 1 minute. Get myself situated. Rejoice, comrades. Poco Carante. Hi, Poco. Welcome, welcome. I'll do my standard introduction. I'm MadCat79 Scotty, a Scottish disabled Marxist streamer. Hi. Hi, Gemma. Rejoice, based Australian anarchist. Story Girl is here. Hi, Darren. Welcome, welcome. A little bit later than usual, just like Kev, really. My right shoulder is being a menace. Yeah, I got the reference. You can thank my dad for that. He was a huge Pink Floyd fan. Hello, hello. How you doing, Poco? Great to see you, by the way. Poco is based. I know Poco from Raptor's stream. Hi. Let's see. I'll just go into this one, then find our budget talk. Oh! It's only a 3-minute read. Shall we? It's the randomness for the stream tonight, because fuck it, why not? Nothing set in place, really. Just see what mood takes me. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Hello, Jam Man. I do feel ashamed for him. Jeremy, you look fucking knackered. Retire, my dude. Oh dear God. You're not lactose intolerant, are you? One of the main reasons I threw up is because the drink, which is fun. I have no gallbladder. I have no bile production facility. The liver still produces some bile, obviously, and stuff. But when I throw up, it's... Oh, no. I do try my best, don't get me wrong. I get some names wrong. Arabic ones. I do apologise to my Arabic and Muslim brothers and brethren and sistren. I do apologise for that one. Because of the Angloid tongue, the way we speak it, like I keep on saying, English is absolutely fucking garbage. I try my best. And don't get me wrong, I try to promote Scots and Broad Scots as languages. But when we speak Broad Scots, people just look at us. By the way, our language system is older than English. So we've had to incorporate our native tongues, Gaelic and Broad Scots and Scots English, into what is classed as Classic English. It's delightful. They look at us like we're some sort of weird aberration. Our language is older than... Anglo-Saxon! Yeah. Lots of like German and Nordic influence and French influence in English. And Latin. And some Arabic and Hindi as well. It's fucking mental. Ray Joy's comrades, Reza Lindsay. Hi Reza. Praise be. Comrade from the northeast of England. How are you doing, Reza? Great to see you. So here we go. Jeremy Corbyn speaks directly to Canary readers. Okay, Jeremy, carry on. Jeremy Corbyn has spoken exclusively to Canary, no surprise really, setting out his own vision for the future ahead of your party, which got voted in as your party by the party members. So there we go, that is the actual party name, your party. Do you have a headache? Oh, I will try to regulate my voice. It can be somewhat calming, don't get me wrong. I can't speak in soft tones, obviously. Setting out his own vision for the future ahead of the Your Party conference in Liverpool this weekend. Corbyn spoke to us after Chancellor Rachel Reeves' budget fell flat. I will use Helena, or No Justice MTG's phrasing, nothing burger of a budget really. Tinkering at the edges and all that kind of stuff. He told us that if anything proves the need for an alternative political voice in Britain, it's this budget this morning. He's not wrong. The Greens will be doing better, in my opinion. I speak from self-interest, a Scottish Green Party member, by the way. The only positive was that it ended the 2-child benefit cap. She could have got rid of that last year, by the way. For those in receipt of universal credit, so they used to have job seekers allowance. The Tory Lib Dem coalition government got rid of that and brought in universal credit. But Gideon and IDS fucked with it. The pair of them can get fucking wrecked. That is a result of lots of campaigning. But it's driven lots of children into poverty. There's some children still in poverty, Jeremy, by the way. Ever since that cap was introduced some years ago, 2012 I believe. Instead he explained there's much more to worry about under Labour's government. He's not wrong. And yet I don't... Very, very much mixed feelings about your party, really. I'll bring up my chat actually. Chat's moving quite fast tonight. Give me momentito. I'll bring up my chat. Twitch. Please ignore the drinking if you can. there we go. I have my chat. But the negatives of the budget are that the lack of raising the tax threshold in line with inflation, so there's the tax bans, they're staying where they are, which will, with the fiscal drag, will bring more people into the higher tax rate bands. She could have shifted then, she could have moved them up. She didn't. Thanks, Rachel. Particularly the very lowest earners. And over the next 6 years, that is going to matter to several 100,000 people, probably more than that actually, who at the moment earn too little to pay tax, but will be forced to pay more in taxation. Corbyn calls it Labour's deficiencies. Oh, sweet. On you, Zach, fuck terms or words to that effect. Well said, Gemma. Well said. Corbyn explained that actually Reeves had in fact snuck in a kind of tax increase, but she didn't shift the tax bands, we've been saying that. There's an element there of tax increase which the Chancellor very cleverly skated over during her speech. Correct. Nothing there about investment in housing, nothing about investment in council housing. We've been saying this for fucking years. Nothing about ending the scourge, because that is what it is, of private finance initiative dragging money out of the National Health Service. We can, should and must do things very differently. Correct. We have appalling levels of poverty in our society. Very fucking correct. And he made it clear that Labour are not addressing wealth inequality. Why would they? They're bought and paid for. We have a massive gap between the richest and the poorest. Yeah, Gemma, we have since you've been in Parliament. My entire younger sister's life, to be in fact. My entire life, actually, come to think of it. Thanks to her. It gets bigger every year. Yes. Nothing in this budget is going to close that gap. If anything, it will increase. I agree. It depends on what context. It's rather weird. Different areas in Scotland speak differently, regional dialects and all that. We are not a monolith. There's lots of different types of Scottish people. Hello, very, very unique Scottish person here, by the way. And also not very unique, because there's lots of people who are kind of similar to me. So here in Glasgow, it's mostly English with broad Scots, which is like an infective, really. The way we use English with added Scottish flair, if you wish. You know, like bawbag, numpty, balliarty, things of that nature. They fit into the English language model, kind of, a bit. But you've also got Gaelic, which is spoken in the Western Isles, so north of here, up the west coast. And you've got Scots English and RP in like the east, like Edinburgh, up to my home city of Perth. Don't get me wrong, there's people in Perth who speak broad Scots and Scots Gaelic as well. It depends on where you are. Plus there's Doric up in Aberdeen. Hang up that way. Because I'm now facing northeast. I've been moved, that is the window behind me. I used to sit right at the window, shivering my fucking everything off. Oh, Reza knows his stuff. Praise be Reza. Based individual and very knowledgeable. Feel free to talk to Reza. They are based. When asked about people who can't make it to your party conference in Liverpool this weekend, the Islington North MP said, for all those that want to be in Liverpool this weekend but didn't get through the sortition process. If anyone's interested, I can show you how sortition works. It's mad. The Byzantines used it, and so did Venice. I'm really sorry. We brought in sortition process as something new and novel to ensure a generally broad representation of people who support your party. And once the conference was over, he told us he was eager to get going on your party's future. Fair enough. After we've got through this weekend, and I'm really looking forward to it, I'm very confident we're going to come through it, establish our party, name our party, and above all, we'll then have the branches and the structures will be out there doing the campaigning on housing, on poverty, on inequality, on environment and sustainability, and compensating the Waspie women for the abnormal way they've been treated over so many years. You do not need to say Poco whatsoever. You can just give the state if you wish. What state are you in? Are you in a major city or anything? Yeah. So many different types of languages. Oh! Christie? Is Christie Wisconsin? Big-ish city. There's lots we've got to be doing as a party, and you know what? We're going to be doing it together. Corbyn's words will undoubtedly spread hope amongst your party members and supporters. And for everyone at the Canary, we can safely say that we're hopeful and eager to see your party deliver the politics that we know we so desperately need. Fair enough. What? Ooh. Oh God, right. There we go, that might be one I can talk about for the piece. Look! Another one's defected. No surprise, really. Oh, hello, Chris Packham. Budget. Right, let's go back up to that one. Alright. Please bear with me. I'm going to be recording a piece that I'll clip out and be sending to someone. So just chat amongst yourselves. I won't be too long. It'll be less than 15 minutes essentially to talk about the budget. Thank you, everyone. You know what? I might increase myself. Actually, I will adjust the size of the chat. Can go down there. That can go there. change the way that video looks. Hello everyone. I am MadCat79 Scotty Eye here on Twitch and Katie Marshall 4340 on YouTube. I am a Scottish disabled Marxist streamer and I talk about health and disability and benefits. Let's take a look at the budget to see how we can dissect what Rachel Reeves done on Wednesday. Say thank you to the Canary. I am a member. Today, 1st of December 2025, PM Keir Starmer gave a speech at Coin Street Neighbourhood Centre, frantically defending Rachel Reeves' recent autumn budget. At the same time, he was also forced to defend Reeves herself. Well, she's not exactly doing the best job, is she? The Chancellor appears to have lied about the dire state of the UK finances in the lead up to hiking taxes. Somewhat yes and somewhat no. She could have shifted the tax bands, lifted them up the tax thresholds where you move up. If you get a pay increase, you'll be dragged up into a higher tax band and pay more income tax. It wasn't directly in their manifesto, obviously, and people are saying that she's a liar. Feel free to believe a party manifesto if you want to. I don't. I haven't believed party manifestos for many years now. Unfortunately, that's far from the worst of it. While Starmer banged on about the damage done by austerity, they're still carrying on in certain respects. Austerity, by the way. They keep on forgetting how intelligent the British voter is, how clued in the British electorate is now. Treating us like mushrooms, kept in the dark and fed. It's fun, but we seem to be breaking that mold, saying, no, you didn't need to do this. He also spoke about the need to reform welfare spending. I'm here to counter that. I'm disabled and I've been on benefits for many years now. And they don't need to be doing half the shit that they're doing. Trust me, they don't. Apparently that means strip health benefits from disabled young adults to enrich my mates in business. If you don't speak politician. Luckily, I do understand politician. I do not speak it because obviously not politician. But yes, being able to decode what these people say, especially the budget, always important. The weekend after the budget, this weekend essentially, Reeves faced stark accusations of misleading the public. Somewhat yes and somewhat no. Earlier forecasts from the OBR, side tangent, the chair of the OBR has stepped down due to the release of said budget before she actually stood at the dispatch box in the House of Commons. So that person is no longer head of the OBR, which was an organisation not a think tank. I don't know how you describe the OBR really. It was set up by the coalition. It was set up by the Tories, by the way. So we do not need the OBR. Trust me on that one. It is pointless. We have a Chancellor at the end of the day. We don't need an OBR. Earlier forecasts from the Office of Budget Responsibility, the OBR, which Reeves based many of her public statements on, she has done for a while now, even in shadow cabinet, in opposition, suggested far worse financial outlooks than the forecasts from more immediately before the budget release. The Labour machine, brilliant description if you ask me, was working in overdrive to defend the Chancellor from allegations. Yeah, they can do that if they want, really. The PM's Chief Secretary, Dan Jones, insisted that, of course, Reeves didn't lie. Technically, it went against what was in their manifesto. You could describe it as a lie, really, if you wanted. He also stated that the government intended to increase room in the budget to pay for the NHS and cost of living policies. She could have done that directly. The Chancellor herself stated that I clearly could not deliver a budget with just $4.2 billion of fiscal headroom. We're a sovereign currency, sure we can fund anything we fucking want. She knows this. We try to keep on telling her. Will she listen? Apparently not. In a BBC interview with Laura Kuenssberg, she also noted that this would have been the lowest surplus any Chancellor ever delivered. And so what? The Attlee government's still done stuff. Post-war consensus, anyone? You don't need the fiscal headroom. Those fiscal rules are self-imposed. You do not need to be following them, Rachel. Trust me on that. You don't need to be doing this. You could actually fund the country. Make it better for everyone. And stop attacking people like me who are disabled and can't go back into work. Thanks. Likewise, Starmer insisted that the early OBR forecast showed $16 billion less headroom than they'd hoped for. And I'll say again, so what? As such, in giving Labour's budget commitments, he said, therefore, against that backdrop, it was inevitable that we would have to raise revenue, so there was no misleading there. You went directly against your manifesto, which you published last summer, in the lead up to the general election here. I will say again, believe a party manifesto, if you want to. The OBR itself even called its leak of the more optimistic forecast before the budget presentation the worst failure in 15-year history of the OBR. Everything, there's little nuggets that they drop into the news cycle in the lead up to a budget. Every government has done that for years now. They drop little nuggets of what's in the budget. Always done that, so the fact that this got released earlier before she stood at the dispatch box is, I want to say inconsequential, but maybe it might shift the dial even slightly, but at the end of the day it's not really that important. What's actually in the budget is the more important thing, whether it gets released early or not. It was seriously disruptive to the Chancellor. Maybe. Who had every right to expect that the EFO, the Economic and Fiscal Outlook, which is basically predictions, it's guesswork, would not be publicly available until she sat down at the end of her budget speech. Or when she stood up at the start of her budget speech. The office blamed its website setup, leaving files open to anyone who guessed the right URL. It doesn't work like that. It's not how URLs work. However, it also insisted that the leak was completely unintentional. Please do an investigation to see if it was unintentional and someone just being incompetent then. I'd really like to know, actually. Austerity by any other name. In his speech, Starmer waxed lyrical about his pride in the budget. Don't know why. And so yes, I am proud. I am proud we scrapped the two-child limit. You could have done that last year. I am proud we're lifting over 500,000 children out of poverty. Proud we raised the national minimum wage. Again, $12.71 is slightly better, I guess. I'd want it higher than that personally, but that's just me. For what it's worth, that over 500,000 was 450,000 last week. The Child Poverty Action Group had it as 350,000 before that. We as a country really must do something about these rapidly rising numbers of children who are in poverty until Reeves and Starmer started doing speeches about them. Again, they could have been doing something about this when they got into power last summer. Starmer also spoke against the effects of austerity in the UK. Just ask any of us what austerity's been like, Keir. Thank you. Look at the OBR's analysis of productivity, and it's crystal clear to me that austerity scarred the long-term productive capability of this country. So why would we repeat it? Exactly. Why would you repeat it? What a fucking fantastic question, Keir. It is a fantastic question. Will they answer it correctly? I am doubtful. It makes us wonder why you're banging on about attacking welfare. Correct. Our welfare system is trapping people. Citation needed. Not just in poverty, but out of work. Young people in particular. And that is a poverty of ambition. 14 years of austerity has literally defunded this country. You could have changed that. You did run on the promise of change last year in the general election. Just saying. So why will they invest in apprenticeships? Let's see how they will turn out. They look somewhat decent in my opinion. Just as long as it's not workfare, not forcing young people to do basically scut work to get their benefits. And make sure young people without a job have a guaranteed offer of training or work. We must also reform the welfare state itself. That is what renewal demands. This is pure spin. I would agree. Stating point blank that austerity had a massive negative effect on the country. Yes. Then turn around and stating that benefits trap people in poverty is unabashedly two-faced. Correct. As Diane Abbott pointed out on Twitter, the media is deliberately focused on who said what, when this is much more important, the harsh reality of continued austerity. Thousands of young adults face cuts to health benefits. Well said, Diane. Well said. Would you look at that face? Delightful, isn't it? Look at him. Slashing disability benefits to pay bosses. Hi, disabled person here, by the way. Let's see. I will try not to get too enraged, but I'm not making any promises here. Just as Abbott alluded to, Starmer is reportedly considering removing long-term health benefits from universal credit for people aged under 22. Because apparently, under 22s are not disabled. Beg to differ, I've been disabled since I was 16, well, technically 11 years old when I got diagnosed. I've been disabled for nigh on 37 years at this point. Yes, young people are disabled. Just saying. There's around 66,000 18 to 21 year olds with disability or long-term illnesses who may lose out as part of this draconian move. Correct. I am also at risk. My benefit, my one, I get that from the Scottish Government. So I used to be on PIP, but I am not any longer, which is amazing. So I don't need to worry about that Glaswegian ghoul at Caxton House fucking with my benefits. Although, as a joint claim between myself and my husband, we receive universal credit and we get a health component because he's my full-time carer. and he gets money each month to look after me. That is still in risk, with many hundreds of thousands of other disabled couples across the land. Delightful. Pat McFadden, if you can hear me, please do not do this. And if you ever come back home, just keep quiet. Instead, Labour are reportedly considering ploughing money into a scheme to encourage employers to hire young adults. Note, as reported by The Times, that this isn't specifically for employing disabled young adults. It applies to anyone who's been out of work for 3 months. So, to put it bluntly, Starmer plans to remove health benefits from disabled 18 to 21-year-olds in order to pay businesses to hire young people. Fantastic! Those businesses have absolutely no extra incentive to hire the disabled person who just had their health benefits ripped away. Fun. Let's see how that works out. No matter how he tries to sell it, getting young people into work, reforming welfare, boosting productivity, there's no other way to say this. It's austerity, pure and simple. Correct. And just as was true of austerity before, it's funny how there's always more money to slip into private pockets. Fun. And I'll repeat again, look at that face. How are these people in charge of us, I say, essentially? I want better for our country, obviously. And as a side note, I also want my independence. Do I see that happening? Possibly not. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have enjoyed the rant from this mad Scottish woman here in Glasgow. Thank you, and I will see you later. Mad cat out. Oh, no. No, there we go. Hello, I am back. Oh, no, let me just the size of my chat again. Move you over there. There we go. Hello. How did that go? That should be easy to clip out in Clipchamp. Okay, what's everyone in the mood for? There we go. Let's see what I missed in chat. Give me a minute. What the? Oh dear God. Rejoice, comrades. Omaha, the cat dancer, is here. Hi, Omaha. Oh, Mr. E. Give him a minute, I've been ignoring my YouTube chat. Hello, Mr. E. Give him a minute and I'll bring up my YouTube chat. I'm in the mood for a revolution as well, Omaha. But unfortunately, being disabled might be a limiting factor. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure I'd be good in the background, maybe organising things of that nature. But physically out on the front line, or in the vanguard, you never know. Oh, come on, you sinless bastard, just give me my YouTube chat. Oh, no. Nah. Oh God. Yeah, we done Piers Morgan versus 20 woke liberals on Jubilee, and someone suggested we actually cover Charlie Kirk at the Oxford Union. Your best resource for that would probably be Kev, but obviously I can talk about it as well. I know it's a fair amount about World War II and the movement fascism and stuff like that. Obviously being the Marxist, a socialist, essentially. Know your enemy, people. Know your enemy. Oh, come on, you sinless bastard. What the fuck? I'll just leave that loading until it's fucking ready. Missile launchers on your wheelchair. I like that idea. Oh God, what one is it? It's got Warwick from CSI. I've forgotten the actor's name. Alien Resurrection? His pal's wheelchair's got all sorts of little gadgets on it. I can't remember the name of the actors. Oh God, fucking hell. Let's see. Oh, Lefty. Yeah, let's see what Lefty put out. Huh. Is it... What was it? That's weird. Oh, Grace. Oh, no. Oh, what the fuck? It is maybe more practical. Give me a minute. What the hell is happening here? Settings. Sound. Yeah. Right. Let's try this again. Oh, fuck off. There we go. Right.
Serious crime.
Ah, there we go. That's great. Can everyone hear the video, by the way? I know for the. Yeah, I noticed that as well, Reza. Are you deciding to work here, you stupid, sinless bastard? Give me a minute, Mr. E. I'm coming. Correct, yeah. Oh, fucking hell, man. Right, let's see if restarting it actually works. Carry on, Lefty.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Oh. Everyone go and follow My Left Eye. Lefty is based. He is Mancunian. Was he at this? Well done. Oh, no problem, Poco. Carry on. No obligation to stay here whatsoever. Always a pleasure to have you. It's great that you came over. But yeah, if you've got another streamer, flip between the two of us if you want. Or 3 or 4.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. How do you sleep at night? Aiding and abetting the most serious crime there is, genocide.
I'm just gonna,
and you're here
if you just
taking
listen to
away
me,
ordinary people
just listen to
who
me for
are
1 second.
protesting
Okay.
genocide.
Listen to me 1 second.
And are
Give
supporting
me an opportunity.
an organisation
to put this
that
away.
is working
You're going to put this away.
I'm not going to put it
You've run out of room in jail.
You're going to be arrested if you don't put this away. You understand that, don't you?
You're arresting the wrong woman.
Okay. So,
Arresting his
I'm giving you
father.
that. And that, this moment in time, under arrest, okay. Section 13 tells that.
Oh, thank you.
We set off. We're going to have everyone
So you're
move
under
back
arrest
to
now.
their
So
place,
we're
all right?
They are arresting a granny. I assume I just call granny as a pejorative, really. They are arresting granny who's just sitting there with a sign written on cardboard and Sharpie more than likely, or a permanent marker. How is she a criminal? Seriously, how is she a criminal? Oh yeah, it's fucking vile. Fucking disgusting. Yeah. Well said, Reza.
Just arrived at St Peter's Square in Manchester. This is where the Defend Our Juries protest is going to be taking place.
Rejoice, Lefty, on the streets. Carry on, Lefty.
Today it is a very typically drizzly winter day here in St Peter's Square.
Look, it's raining. Hello from Glasgow. It rains here. It is currently raining right now, outside, behind me. And in front of me, obviously. I'm used to the rain. I don't like it. I hate getting damp. It's not good for my joints. Oh dear God, you've got evil white shit. Poco. Solidarity with you, my comrade. I hate snow and ice. I'm not exactly stable in the best of conditions, and when it gets slippery underfoot, dear God. That's how I've got most of my broken bones, because snow and ice and sludge and horrible. Ugh. I also think I've got an inner ear imbalance, so I'm not exactly on an even keel, let's put it like that. We should be grateful of that, but actually just lifting, right, obviously they're not causing a problem in my opinion, just saying they're protesting. Last time I checked, we were a free and democratic society and we can protest if we want to. Apparently not. Fun. Yeah.
Rise up, rise up. Manchester residents will be familiar with St Peter's Square, the history that there is with protest here. Been to many protests in St Peter's Square. Emmeline Pankhurst there, overlooking the square as usual. In fact, just when I first got involved with JSO, there was a protest about the memorial of the Peterloo March across by the library there. That's where I met Jeremy Corbyn briefly once. This is going to be the scene. Still a bit early, still very drizzly. It's going to stay that way throughout the day. We're expecting highs of balmy 7 degrees Celsius here in Manchester.
Same here.
There's been a Palestine march in Manchester earlier today. Some of them have come down to show support for Defend Our Juries, which is fantastic. Just here to support the arrestees as taken away into the carriers. The support's incredible. Manchester always has a strong sense of solidarity. You can hear shouts of shame. Non-violent protesters being led away. The police obviously have much better things to do with the time and with public finance. But here we are. That's the state of affairs in 2025. Shows support for the hunger strike here. One of the Palachian protesters who's imprisoned has been on a hunger strike for around a fortnight now. A very brave man by the name of Cameron, and he was yesterday taken into hospital with severe malnutrition. So good to see support for that here as well.
Being pretty slow actually, not the rest of me.
I've got you, Mr. E. Hello, hello.
Some whataboutery going on here from like some
This is our country, this is our land, this is our flag. This is what it's about. This is what the culture and the heritage is based on. Our children and our children's future children. All of our families,
really
our
have,
women and our families are being divided.
much idea about what's going on.
Vulnerable, the elderly, disabled, going cold. Being hungry,
It's not a binary choice between protesting against the prescription of a non-violent action group or for looking after our children or any other societal issue you've got, as these people would try and have you believe. What about the homeless? What about this? What about that? They'll say anything to avoid talking about the real issue, the real topic of the protest, which is the removal of our rights that were hard fought for in places like this here in Manchester.
Hi.
But we'll just let him stand there and talk to himself, I guess, because nobody's really paying attention. He's certainly not going to persuade anybody away from supporting Defend Our Juries if that's what he's decided to come and spend his weekend attempting to do. Got bad news for you, pal. It's not going to happen.
Just give us some space, mate. Thank you.
2020 هذه الأمور كلها اختلفت.
Reza, can you help me a second? Oh, where is it?
ال 2020 هذه الأمور كلها اختلفت.
Aiding and abetting the most serious crime there is, genocide.
I'm just gonna-
and you're here
if you just
taking
listen
away
to me-
ordinary people
just listen to
who
me for
are
one second.
protesting
Okay.
genocide.
Listen to me 1 second.
And you're
I'm going to give you an
supporting
opportunity
an organisation
to put this
that
away.
is working
You're going to put this away.
I'm not going to put it
You've run out of room in jail.
You're going to be arrested if you don't put this away. You understand that, don't you?
You're arresting the wrong woman.
Okay. So,
Arresting his
I'm giving you that
father.
opportunity.
Just move back.
Just listen to me.
Move back, give me some
space.
Just hear me out. Hear me out. Give us an opportunity to put this away. If you don't put this away,
I'm giving you
then
the
you're going to be under arrest. Okay.
obeying the law.
Okay. So,
I'm not
running out of room in the
arresting
jail,
people.
guys.
are you refusing to put this away?
I am refusing
Right,
to put it
okay. And that, this moment in time, you're under arrest, okay. Section 13 tells that supporting a prescribed organisation.
We set off,
okay.
we're going to have everyone
So you're
move
under arrest
back to
now,
the
so I'm going to give you an
space,
opportunity to put this umbrella away if you don't mind. Would you mind just stepping up for me and walking?
No, I'm not going to.
You're going to arrest the officer for holding that
Please,
sign.
you're under arrest now,
With
so-
illegal laws.
Okay.
You shouldn't pollute either.
Are you okay to stand up of your own accord?
No, I'm not okay to stand.
Okay, otherwise, if you fail to do so, we'll have to use force, you see, so... Okay.
That is mine as well. The umbrella is mine.
Stop, step back for me, please. Someone hold the head, please. Everyone step back for me, please.
Just move back.
You protect their head, please.
90 minutes into the protest, there's about 7 people left at the moment. There's a lady here on oxygen. It's going to be the last to be taken away. I've just overheard some of the police liaisons mention that. So far, pretty straightforward. No incidents with welfare or anything to report, fortunately. But this has all happened rather quickly. just 7, or is it 6? Very brave people, every single one. These are our final 4 5-sitters. Just making sure they've got everything they need. So this is.
This gentleman's not a sitter. He doesn't have a sign.
Oh, that's true.
He's hoping they'll arrest him anyway, just for fun.
There you go. We've actually got 4. The gentleman in the middle, not holding a placard. You wouldn't put it past him.
He's there for support.
You wouldn't put it past him though, would you?
No.
No, I definitely wouldn't.
Sorry.
It definitely looks like Omaha, doesn't it? You have to remember they're working at the behest of the state. Fun. We do have a right to actually protest, so get wrecked, fuck off. No. Oh, that's better. Hopefully that'll work. So my right shoulder doesn't seem to be wanting to cooperate. It's been a bit problematic over the last 2-3 days. Don't worry, I'll be fine. It's just more of an annoyance, really. Yeah, fun. Don't you need to be arresting grannies for fuck's sake? It's slightly different up here, by the way. Don't get me wrong, we've still been arrested up here for protesting about Palestine action. I stand with the protesters. Right, what one is it you want me to... There we go. Is it from their podcast? Or... their videos? I've made it easier for myself. I've went to their YouTube channel, Reza. Oh, it's an actual video, so I'll go on the alternate. Give me a second. Oh, it's called Mochusol, but the brand name is Voltarol Gel, essentially. So that's the brand name. That's the one you can buy if you go into a pharmacy and stuff like that. Right, I'm not allowed to ingest diclofenac because it fucked up my stomach and my intestines. But I can use it topical on the joints and stuff, shoulders, knees, ankles, toes. I still have to be careful because it still affects the way my metabolism works, unfortunately. Right. Electronic Intifada, not Intifada. Isn't it? Oh, there we go. Ah! There we go. Got it. Thank you, Reza. Let's finish up with my left eye. First. On you go, Manchester. Beast.
Okay, people, we're here with Graham from Defend Our Juries. How do you think it's gone today?
I think it's gone pretty much as I was expecting. We had a lot more supporters here this time, and I think that we've managed to keep some of the far right away from the city, which is, I think, one of the main reasons I wanted to be here was to be part of a protective cordon around the city. So on previous occasions, they've been much more aggressive than they have been today.
So the police response has been pretty average, pretty moderate today, you think?
Yeah, they...
Correct, Omaha. Correct. Endless joy and endless surprises. Fun, isn't it? I get by, don't worry. Don't get me wrong, I suffer through agony and stuff every now and again, but it's a nuisance. Being stiff is a nuisance. I fucking hate it. My walking is interesting, to say the least. The way my joints works, endlessly delightful. Case in point, right shoulder tonight, over the last couple of days really. Both knees, completely fucked. But I get by. It's what supports and my medicine, the pills, the meds that I take and stuff, alleviate most of the issues. Oh, give me a second. I need to get... Oh! Do not use your right arm like that, you fucking idiot.
They've been, I hate to say it, but they've done their job. I mean, they've been told to do it, and I suspect a lot of them don't want to do it. I was talking to someone who's got a cousin in the Met, and he said most of the police force don't want to arrest people.
You can sort of get a sense of that though during the process, can't you?
No, he was saying they're making mistakes on the forms deliberately. So they
really? Okay.
I'm not saying that's everybody, but that's happening. So yeah, we're doing what we have to do. Defend our juries. It's doing what it has to do. It's bringing to the attention of everybody, the government, the public, the media, bringing to their attention that Palestine Action should not have been prescribed, and that they are a non-violent civil resistance group, and that non-violent civil resistance groups are not prescribed organisations, and that ban has to be lifted. I also think there's another thing about Defend Our Juries. It's not just about Palestine Action. It's about the rights of juries. The rights of juries to acquit on the basis of their conscience.
Yeah, speaking of that actually, how do you feel about what's been in the news this week? We've had a proposal to remove the right to a trial by jury, except with certain cases.
No problem. Self-care is good care, Mr. E. Stay hydrated, not necessarily with Stella Artois. H2O works, so does diluting juice and milk. Stay hydrated. Self-care is good care. Or care or maintenance of equipment. I don't have any, I've got a tense machine. Where is it? It's up, I can see it. My tense machine's up there. And supports and stuff. Look after those because they make you, they're good for you. They're good for your life. Give you support, blah, blah, blah. Stay based, free Palestine, and especially with connection to getting rid of jury trials, fuck David Lammy. Tell him to piss off. Catch you later, Mr. E. Always a pleasure. Bye.
And also the last minute judge switch on the Pal Action case, how are you feeling about all of that?
Switching the judge?
Yeah.
I mean, what's that? That's the judiciary being interfered with by government, which they are not supposed to do.
No.
But of course they
Sorry.
always interfere
Yeah.
with the judiciary. It happens all the time. It's just that
This
this
is
is
a
so...
Christian land, has been for
I've met people who might have been part of the SAS. Might have. Due to the way our country operates, especially that aspect of how the British state works, they cannot say definitively. I have met paras, they can say they were paras. One of them is completely fucking insane. I'd say that jokingly, but yeah, he was kind of mental. Obviously Scottish. He loved being a paratrooper for obvious reasons, but what am I? I'm 46. Oh my god, he's going to be 50 this year. 50 next year, so he's just a few years older than me. Delightfully insane, brilliant para, apparently from what I've heard from his fellow para Pathfinder people. They cannot say if they were part of the SES or the SBS, which is the Special Boat Service, due to the Official Secrecy Act and the other government state bollocks. They are very intelligent, don't get me wrong, I can't do the physical aspect of it, but I have the nous, I have the intelligence to be part of the SES, I believe. I wouldn't pass the physical, obviously I'm disabled to fuck. I'm not quite there yet, don't get me wrong, my super hubby helps me a lot, especially physically with actually moving me, getting me up and stuff like that, and helping me get washed, having a bath or a shower, things of that nature. Yeah, I'd be completely lost without him. But yeah, having the support of wife, partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, always good. He might be a contrarian bastard. He is endlessly delightful to me in some of the shit that he says. But he takes good care of me and he makes me laugh. He is quite good at that.
This was so blatant.
Continue to be a Christian land. We were not born.
And they did it, the same judge was presiding over a case for the F-35 parts, and they did the same thing to the same judge, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it's getting really draconian, isn't it?
Well, you look at the laws that have been enacted by the Tory government, which a Labour government have kept in power and are strengthening and are adding new laws. They are...
Rejoice, comrades. Dan McLeith. Hi, Dan. Well, you already know my stance on them, Dan, don't you? Thanks, Ellie. From the meeting that I had on Saturday afternoon, I've softened a bit. I was kind of ardent, saying, no, they're traitors, fuck them, they've betrayed us. I would tell them where to fucking go. I've kind of softened, right, fair enough, you've defected. I'm still going to hold that against you, unfortunately. It does indeed, Mr. A. My younger sister's partner, he was military. He was in the Royal Engineering Mechanical Corps, essentially. He fixed tanks. He is really quite a talented mechanic. Praise be my sister's partner. Really is quite good at maintaining vehicles. But he was basically in the cavalry. He worked in tanks. He was fine with taking orders, oddly enough, which seems kind of odd considering I know what he's like. You can't go back in now, health reasons. Check journal. I will, thank you, Dan.
shutting down protest. Non-violent civil resistance is being shut down.
Whether you support this or any other cause, it applies to all of us.
This right-wing over there, if they're arrested, they will want, a lot of those will want to go to a jury trial, and they'll lose that right to a jury trial. I would say that anyone who goes to court for a conscience, on the basis of their conscience, should have a jury.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks a lot, Graham. Solidarity. Thanks a lot for watching to the end of the video. If you'd like to help the channel out a bit more, then please check out some of our other content and hit various supportive buttons such as like and subscribe. Super thanks are also open, and there's a link to our Buy Me a Coffee page in the description of this video. If you want to go a step further, then hit the join button, and for only 99p you can enjoy exclusive perks like members only videos and early viewings, plus lots more, and you get to join the list of awesome people that you can see on your screen right now. As always, your contributions are much appreciated. Thanks again, people. My left eye will be seeing you soon.
I return. Hello. I'll be a good little comrade and leave that one alone so Helena can get to it basically today. Hello, Captain Sensible. How goes it anyway? No, I'm not doing it. I can't be arsed with Rory and Alistair. Let's check out what Dan has put in general. Oh God, right. Let's see. Alright. Oh, it's taking me right back into my old account. Fucking hell.
In Scotland, where I come from, importantly to offer a radical alternative to the neoliberal policies of the SNP, and I would also argue a proper, genuine left alternative to the Green Party, which I don't think is a genuine radical left party, although I do believe there's very good people in the Green Party, and it'd be important to work with them on certain things.
What we need, Holyrood in 2026, which is just round the corner, is a bunch of leftists coming together and working together.
This is a moment where the left just needs to come together, and the hatchets need to go down. And I think really, regardless of what the Greens have said previously, we kind of need to move beyond that and move into a space where we're all, speaking together. We're not going to go on everything, but there just needs to be collaboration, because the threats are too real and the risks are too great not to cooperate.
We should be working together. Like, the Greens are doing well right now. I'm not here to bash the Greens. At the same time, I think there is genuine ideological differences. The Green Party is not a socialist party. I want to join and be part of a grassroots socialist party.
Hi, I was at a party meeting on Saturday. The number of socialists I met at that at the meeting on Saturday afternoon genuinely inspiring to me. I met Patrick Harvey again. Praise be Patrick Harvey. He is good. He's a socialist. I have checked out parts of your stream. Thank you. Said I like the fact that you introduced yourself as a Marxist. Well, I am. Sorry for my sins, I was a former trot. As far as I was aware, I was the only Marxist. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of us Marxists about, especially here in Glasgow, oddly enough. Yeah, Dan, Reza, well said.
Party that doesn't have councillors who are implementing austerity policies at the local level. The Green Party doing well is a positive thing for progress.
Hello, fellow Marxist. Praise be Poco Corante. There is a good few of us, don't get us wrong. There is a good few Marxists about there. And they're still Trotskyists, for all their sins. Fair enough. Oddly enough, most of the Trotskyists that I know, they're all over 60. It shows you where they actually became Trots, essentially. So all your older Gen Xers and some of your boomers who are still Trots, they're still here. Like I said, most of them are over 60 years old. You are indeed, Dan. Praise be.
To politics, but it does not replace the Socialist Party.
Oh, you don't need to pigeonhole yourself, Reza. Seriously. You don't. Oh, it's from Reza Winstanley. Asa Winstanley is good. He's really good researcher, really good individual, good at what he does. Thank you, Asa Winstanley. So this was from a few days ago. So we're technically on the 2nd of December, so Tuesday 2nd, Monday the 1st, Sunday 30, 29, 22, Thursday, so the day after the budget. Judge in Palestine action case has ties to the Israeli lobby. Delightful. I always put people first. You are very welcome to be here, Poco. You really are. Yeah. I've got a funny feeling this is going to be rather long, but it is worth it. Okay. Victoria Sharp, her brother Richard Sharp. Oh, and look, Trevor Chin, major funder to the Labour Party, currently in government. Trevor Chin, get wrecked, fuck off. Ah, Alex Morris from Declassified UK. Go and check out Declassified UK and Mint Press. And praise be Richard Medhurst. Well, Richard Medhurst he's done good work. Shit, I can fucking see him. Ah! I'll find out who I'm talking about. He done a downstream. That might be a good thing to go on. Campaigners are alleging a stitch-up after the British judge who was to consider the legal challenge to ban Palestine action was replaced at the last minute. Jiggery pokery, don't you love it? Government self-interest always takes place, for many, many different fucking reasons. The Electronic Intifada has learned that a judge with ties to a pro-Israel lobby will lead the new panel on the case. Delightful! It does indeed. Fun. A 3-day hearing began on Wednesday and is due to conclude, today, essentially. Before the change, High Court Justice Martin Chamberlain, an expert on free speech law, fair enough, had been set to rule on whether or not to overturn the government's ban on Palestine action as a terrorist group. Not that it's a direct action group, thank you. But on Wednesday last week, same day of the budget by the way, he was abruptly replaced by a panel of 3. Victoria Sharp, Karen Stein and Jonathan Swift. For a judge to be replaced so close to a hearing date is rather unusual. It is. I sense government involvement, really. Some people may call me paranoid. I think I'm correct on this case, actually. High Court Judge Victoria Sharp's twin brother, Richard Sharp, sits on the board of trustees at charity 1 Million Mentors alongside Trevor Chin, a key British funder of pro-Israeli groups. That is correct. He has ties to the Israeli government and Israeli lobbies here in the UK. Fun. Correct, Reza. I agree. Richard Sharp is a former chairperson of the BBC. Why am I not surprised? When he was appointed in 2021, the BBC reported that Sharp's heritage is Jewish, and he is considered, by those who know him broadly, pro-Israel. Fun. He has a twin sister, Victoria, who is a senior judge. Look! He stepped down from the BBC in 2023 after breaking the rules on public appointments by failing to declare his connection to a $1 million loan made to Bojo, who was Prime Minister at the time of his appointment. Fun! What the fuck is going on in my fucking country? I hate my government, I really do. An investigation has found a potential perceived conflict of interest. Be a neat trick if it was that one. He's been dead for about, God, over 100 years at this point, I think. Oh yeah, I despise Westminster, Dan. Absolutely fucking despise it. As a barrister in the 1980s, Victoria Sharp was instructed by Nishon Daria, a law firm which later represented the Israeli government and pro-Israel groups in the UK, and has worked to fight boycotts of Israel in the courts. Fun. Victoria Sharp's sounds like a Victorian villain. Oh God, I fucking love that, Reza. That's amazing. In a case she took on instruction from founder Victor Michon starting in 1987. She is reported to have been one of the principal advisors to newspaper. Oh, for fuck's sake! She was an advisor to Robert Maxwell. Fuck's sake! They're all interwoven. I fucking despise this country. I really do. The British state is what I'm talking about here, not the people of this country. There's plenty of good-based individuals, British people, who are amazing, who want the best for our country, for everyone who lives here. I despise the British state and everything that it fucking does. Most governments that have been around since I've been born have been absolute fucking dog shit. Who was later revealed to have been a spy for Israel, which is correct, that has been proven now. Groups backed by Chin include Labour, Friends of Israel. Fun! Close ties to Labour together, oddly enough. When the new Labour government came into office last year, an analysis by Declassified UK, again, check them out, they really are quite good, found that half of Prime Minister Keir Starmer's cabinet had been funded by the Israeli lobby. Yay! Amazing, getting funded by a foreign government. Fantastic. And that one of the key donors was Trevor Chin. I spent my entire life working for Israel. Fuck off then. Thanks. Chin told a meeting organised by Labour Friends of Israel in 2013. Ray Joyce, comrades, L. Ron Hubbard. You are correct. Lammy is more than likely part of this. Fun. Yeah, plenty of wankers there too, obviously. To point to anything in particular. The cabinet. Fun. In January, Chin was awarded the Medal of Honor by the Israeli president for his contribution to Israel and the Jewish people. What the actual fuck? Asked by The Guardian why Chamberlain had been removed from the case. Good point. The Ministry of Justice referred to the paper to the Judiciary's press office, which declined to comment. Fun. Correct. Yeah. Declined to comment. Delightful. As a lawyer in the late 80s, Victoria Sharp acted on the instructions of pro-Israel law firm Mishon Derea, representing Maxwell in a case relating to a critical biography of the newspaper tycoon had been attempted to block from publication. Mishon Derea later acted on behalf of the Israeli embassy and Prime Minister Ariel Sharon in another case. Robert Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell. This is seriously disturbing to me. He fell off his yacht. Maxwell pursued author Tom Boyer for years, repeatedly sued him, and even, according to Boyer, had paid a private detective to spy on him. That's fun. Oh yeah, I knew where he got buried. Fun. Mount of Heroes. I'm not going to say anything. I like my platform. I don't want to get raided by Israeli bots. Or trolls actual people coming in and saying, no, you're just anti-Semitic. No, I'm not. Fuck off. Boyer wrote in a later book that 4 lawyers were Maxwell's principal advisors. Lord Victor Michon and Anthony Julius were his solicitors, and Richard Rampton, QC, now KC, and Victoria Sharp were the barristers. During their frequent court appearances, they betrayed no hint of doubt about their client's virtues. Yeah. On the contrary, they pursued his mission with depressing vigour, commitment, and pitilessness. Delightful. Why do these fucking ghouls exist? Please tell me. I'm fed up dealing with these fucking bastards. I really am. Don't worry, I will keep on countering them. I will be doing that. Although replacement of Chamberlain at the last minute was an unusual step, highly unusual in my opinion really, in the British legal system, it also happened earlier this year in a case led by Palestinian human rights group Al-Haq against the British government for its role in exporting F-35 bomber parts to Israel. We're still doing that, by the way. We're still sending them parts for the F-35. Stein ruled in Israel's favour. Fantastic. Tayyab Ali from Binman's law firm, which acted in the F-35 judicial review, told The Guardian that a sudden and unexplained shift from the single judge who already had conducted of the Palestine Action case to an entirely new panel of 3 is deeply concerning, particularly without any stated justification. I agree. Sounds rather shady, doesn't it? a spokesperson for the activist group Defend Our Juries, which has been campaigning against the ban on Palestine action, said in a statement that the replacement makes it hard not to draw the conclusion that this is a stitch-up. Yeah. Oh, there she's there. That was the video we just saw, by the way. Justice Chamberlain had been consistently confirmed as the judge presiding over this judicial review. The spokesman said if Dame Sharp believed a panel of judges was necessary, the usual process would have been to add judges to sit alongside him, not to remove him entirely. Again, I believe this is a stitch-up. I have an insider in the Scottish legal system. I'm waiting for them to get back to me on this case. The judiciary is meant to be independent of political influence. Correct. That should be held to. It really should. Hello, UK citizen here, with somewhat reliable information on how the legal systems work here, the English and Welsh one up here in Scotland. I know the basics, let's put it like that. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I understand how this works, and this is shady as fuck. Yeah, there was no transparency around this decision. They said public confidence is being seriously undermined. Yeah. Lammy. David Lammy. Fuck off. That two of the replacement judges have links which at least raise the appearance of conflict of interest. No, there is a conflict of interest. There is. There's no appearance of it. This is actual influence that they have. Only deepens the concerns. Yeah. This includes Dame Sharp's family connections to Bojo and to prominent pro-Israel lobbyist and major Labour Party donor Trevor Chin. Sharp's work for Robert Maxwell is of concern for big historical reasons. Yes. Maxwell, who died in mysterious circumstances in 1991, he fell off his yacht, was later reported to be a spy for Israel. Yeah. Yes, for all intents and purposes, he is, Elron. Yeah, that was the name of his boat. He named it after his daughter. Delightful. Mysterious circumstances, indeed. He was drunk and fell with his boat, apparently, or his yacht, apparently. Think of that, what you will. Feel free to check it out if you want. Apparently, no one else was on his yacht, which is incorrect. One of his sons was on the boat as well, on the yacht. Did someone push Daddy into the drink? That I speculate. Just the crackpot theory there. Just ignore me. I try not to believe conspiracy theories. He just got drunk and fell off the boat. Fine, fair enough. Yeah. After he was found dead at sea, Maxwell was buried in Jerusalem at an extraordinary state funeral ordered by Prime Minister Yitzhak Shamir, according to authors Gordon Thomas and Martin Dillon in the book The Assassination of Robert Maxwell, Israel's Super Spy. It's quite a book title. He has done more for Israel than can be said here today. Eulogized opposition leader and previous Prime Minister Shimon Peres at the funeral. Thomas in his books, Gideon Spies, wrote that no fewer than 6 serving and former heads of the Israeli intelligence community attended the funeral, Thomas regrets Maxwell as Israel's super spy. Fun! In his eulogy, Chaim Herzog, then Israel's president, praised Maxwell's aid for the security of our country. Fun! You can but speculate, Reza. I can't comment, obviously. It is above us. It is above us, mere Republicans. We can't speculate about that. We might get arrested again for no fucking apparent reason. In the lead up to the inauguration of Charles III, senior members of Republic, including Graham Smith, the head of Republic, they literally went into the man's house and arrested him for no valid reason. They might cause trouble for the inauguration. I will say again, we have a right to fucking protest. Please don't silence us Republicans. Thanks. It would be fun, wouldn't it? And I can see that tangent. I can see how that would play out. I couldn't possibly speculate, of course. I'm but a lowly Republican and Marxist here. Oh, I'm nearly finished. Alright, here we go. Whistleblower portrayed. Fantastic. There's meant to be whistleblower protections, by the way, in most Western countries. US reporter Seymour Hersh wrote in his book, The Samson Option, that the Mirror Group, Maxwell and his employees, Nicholas Davis, oh for fuck's sake, another Tory spin doctor, had betrayed their source, Mordecai Vanunu, to Israel. Oh Christ, I remember this. Vanunu, the Israeli nuclear whistleblower, who provided the definitive proof that Israel had the bomb. They have nuclear weapons. I don't care what the fuck they say. Was lured to Rome and kidnapped by a Mossad team soon after. His photos of Israeli Dimona nuclear plant were published in the rival Sunday Times newspaper in October 1986. He spent 18 years in jail, mostly in solitary confinement, and is still banned from leaving the country. So they're basically holding this person hostage for no good reason. Fun. Robert Maxwell, the father of Ghislaine Maxwell, who is currently serving a 20-year sentence in a low-security jail after being convicted for her part in a sex trafficking ring convicted by known paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Friends with Pierre Mandelson, former ambassador to the US for the UK. Fun. Like Robert Maxwell, Epstein is also increasingly reported to have been an Israeli spy. Also like Maxwell, Epstein died in mysterious circumstances. He was meant to have a suicide watch, but he still managed to hang himself in his jail in New York. I think it was New York. Yeah, right. While there's no suggestion that Victoria Sharp was aware of Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell's criminal activities, or of the scope of our former client's intelligence activities for Israel, questions are being raised by campaigners about a potential conflict of interest. Oh no, I'm the same. I'm very sceptical about it as well. Because he was deemed a suicide risk, they should have been checking in on the cell every 10 minutes, which is standard practice. They basically didn't check in them for fucking hours, and that's how he unalived himself, apparently. Yeah, that is shady as fuck. Another new judge on the panel raising campaigners' concerns is Jonathan Swift. In 2023, Swift rejected WikiLeaks publisher Julian Assange's appeal against deportation to the States. In a 2018 interview, the reporter summarised that Swift has his favourite clients with the security and intelligence agencies. Delightful, another lawyer for spooks and government agents. Trevor Chin and Richard Sharp did not respond for comments. Victoria Sharp did not respond to a request for comment sent via the Judiciary Press. The Judiciary Press Office did not respond to... They didn't want to comment either. What the actual fuck? What fucking country are we living in? Seriously, this be mental. Ooh.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Picture this, right? It's your first day on holiday. It's 11 AM.
Something a little bit lighter, methinks. Hello, Jimmy. How goes it?
You sat there in a beautiful cafe in Nice, and finally, you feel that unwinding, that relaxation of holiday, and the feeling that you have escaped the stresses of your busy life back in Britain. And then, just as you take a bite out of your croissant... No. Oh, God, no. Congratulations, my friends, you have just encountered Brits Abroad.
We want to drink as much as we damn well can.
Our reputation abroad is so infamous, it's led to entire documentaries, TV shows, and even academic papers written to work out why are we like this. So what we're going to do today is we're going to delve.
J'aime beaucoup les croissants. Please translate, Poco. I've had croissants. I've had pain au chocolat as well. French patisseries are rather delightful. We've got a couple here in Glasgow who are independent, not part of a chain. Yeah, don't get me wrong, you may see me drinking on stream. I'm not like that when I go on holiday. The furthest abroad I've been, Dublin and Belfast. I've been to other places here in the UK and stuff. Scots are mostly chill. We're just there to sit back and relax. A lot of us go and check out the history of wherever we want to go. We go to places for their culture, for their food. Football as well. Don't get me wrong, other sports, rugby and stuff like that. Cricket. Scotland has a cricket team. I don't know how they do. But yeah. Oh God, I used to be able to work this out. They used to be Omaha. They used to be. Because Bojo fucking destroyed the One Nationers, the more... Don't get me wrong, they're still fucking Tories. The more stabilised and not so right-wing reactionary fuckwits we've got now in the shadow cabinet and the opposition. But they were seen as like your classic neoliberal right-wing sort of good for all the country kind of people. So they're Tories. They're essentially One Nation Tories. Still right-wing. They're right-wing now. They're not left-wing anymore. There was hope with Corbyn, but they fucking destroyed him because no left-wingers are allowed at all, apparently. They kicked us out. They said, there's the door. And yeah, we fucking used it. Get wrecked. I hope you fucking lose in 2029. Glasses. I do wear glasses. I be short-sighted. No, the reason you keep on seeing my eyes moving so much, my eyelids moving like that, is because my eyes are quite dry and my muscles around my eyes don't work that great. I wear my glasses, don't get me wrong. I don't use them when I'm on my laptop or on my phone or anything. I use them when I go out and stuff, or if I'm watching the telly, which is up there. Over there. On top of your bookcase. On top of two bookcases, actually. It's rather large now. Big telly. I used to have contacts, but because of my muscle instability, my fingers kept on shaking, my nerve impulses and stuff. I used to keep literally nearly blinding myself, so I gave over doing contacts. So the last time I wore contacts was about 24, 25 years ago, when I was in my early 20s, and I moved full time over to glasses because I couldn't do it anymore. Not for any cost reasons, because my hands kept on shaking and stuff, and poking yourself in the eye isn't fun. But no, I've got glasses and I've got prescription shades, which are rather lovely. My middle sister wears contacts. She also has glasses as well. My younger sister is like me, glasses. She doesn't like contacts. She doesn't like the feel of them in her eye. So she wears glasses. My mum has glasses as well. Quite a lot of us we're mostly myopic, we're mostly short-sighted. But yeah, so if I was ever to take up driving again, I'd need to be wearing my glasses. So I need them for distance. I'll go back to the beginning actually, so if you... There we go. Back to the beginning. So yeah, I use glasses. And my eyes do keep on watering. Don't get me wrong, it was kind of easier having contacts at the time, but I can't risk using them now. I will say again, poking yourself in the eye is not fun.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Picture this, right? It's your first day on holiday. Yeah, it's 11 a.m. You're sat there in a beautiful cafe in Nice. And finally, you feel that unwinding, that relaxation of holiday, and the feeling that you have escaped the stresses of your busy life back in Britain. And then, just as you take a bite out of your croissant... No. Oh, God, no. Congratulations, my friends, you have just encountered Brits Abroad.
We want to drink as much as we damn well can.
Our reputation abroad is so infamous, it's led to entire documentaries, TV shows, and even academic papers written to work out why are we like this. So what we're going to do today is we're going to delve deep and explore the strange phenomena of the Brit abroad.
Spanish police who patrol here every night will be joined for 1 week only by 2 officers from West Midlands Police.
I think British people would react better to a British policeman. You know, when it's a foreign policeman, I think it agitates them more, and they're just more aggressive towards them, British people.
So the phrase Brits abroad is an interesting one, right? Because it encapsulates a lot of different things. Because whilst it might invoke the mental image of Baz and Suze on their all-inclusive package holiday in Benidorm, or middle-class Michael and Michelle, trying to seek out the less touristy, more authentic locations, away from all those other trashy Brits.
If that was on my road, the council would be on it. They'd go, get that down. It's a death trap.
There is something that ties all these experiences together, which is how British people interact with the scary foreign world. And so we need to go back to the OG Brits abroad. That's right, baby, we talking about empire. So you might have heard of it, right? So in the 1600s, Britain makes a company called the East India Tea Company, and we head out around the world to set up shop in different locations. Mughal India at the time was one of the richest empires on earth. West Africa as well was full of these big, powerful kingdoms. So at first, we approached them and we played by the rules. We rented land, we signed treaties, we promised mutual benefits. But you see, there was a problem, right? And that is that rules are super lame and boring. So the East India Tea Company created a private army. We used our wealth to like back certain rulers and pit them against each other. And you know, fucking long story short, next thing you know, Britain owns half the planet.
The company had recruited thousands of British and Irish soldiers for its own private army. So much so that by 1800, it employed well over 200,000 soldiers, an army greater in size than that of many developed European nations of the time.
So you got Big Britain, right? It owns everything. But you got to remember, these different nations, right? They had very different attitudes and cultures and structures of society to what we had. And perhaps there was probably a small part of them that maybe didn't like the fact that they were effectively servants to the British in their own land. And so the Brits realized, we're like, yeah, man, this sucks. This isn't right. This isn't going to work. We need to come to some kind of agreement. And so we decided to violently and brutally erase their entire culture.
Now, historically, we look back on that period now as just awful, don't we?
Oh.
I think there was some good bits, and there were some less than good bits, and obviously.
Less than good bits. What the fuck are you on about, David? Oh, by the way, welcome, David Cameron, former Prime Minister of the UK. He is Tory. He is scum. I fucking despise the bastard. Less than good bits. That's a rather huge understatement there, David. Really, it is. I hate imperialism in all its fucking guises. Colonialism fucking sucks. Hi, I'm Scottish, by the way. Huh. Yes. 330,000 excess deaths, anyone. Please, never forget that. This man is a fucking monster. David Cameron, get wrecked. Just fuck off. Landed Gentry, by the way. He is part of the aristocracy. He is a baron and a lord. He is in the other place, which I want to destroy. I am coming for the House of Lords, David. Do not doubt me on that one. Deeply undemocratic, and the fact that you are still in the fucking place just infuriates me to no fucking end. You are a monster. I want you to fuck off. Yes, he didn't help. Thanks, Cornwell, you fucking religious fundamentalist, by the way.
Obviously, you know, we had a bit of a falling out.
So a bunch of writers, strategists, colonial officers and soldiers came up with a ton of literature. They write a bunch of different books that basically come to the same conclusion, which is Britain is super dope and everything else is awful, evil and barbaric. And so we used our military and economic might to enforce on all of our colonies British culture, British law, British education, British currency and British customs onto these countries. And like, we don't have the time to go through the entire history of every evil thing the empire did, but just understand it was brutal, violent and deeply immoral. And when inevitably our colonies would uprise and try and overthrow the British, we would punish them with mass detentions, curfews, executions and concentration camps. And without getting into every single gory detail, there is one simple basic principle that the British Empire imposed upon the world. And that is this: wherever the British go, everyone else must adjust to us and our way of being. And it would be this, right? This culture.
You have to show deference to us. Obviously. We were brilliant. We ruled over you benevolently. We made your country's work better. Well, we were also stripping you of everything that would ever bring you prosperity and work for your people. Including up here in Scotland. Sorry if I keep on banging on about that, but yeah. The ruin that was wrought across the world while we had our empire. Technically it still exists. It's called the Commonwealth. Correct, Dan, yes. Yeah, terrifying. I'm keeping a close eye on that, by the way. And yeah, Reza, you are correct. I have friends in Kerala, by the way, actual communists, Marxists and everything, and socialists of the different flavours in Kerala. I love them desperately. They want me to come over. They want to give me some recipes. Especially for social agitation and actual food dishes. With my friends in Kerala, a mixture of both actually. Some Marxists, some MLs, a couple of Maoists. Kerala's amazing. Basically a social movement, socialists, after fashion, really. Don't get me wrong, there's Marxists in Kerala. They despise Modi and all he does. And I agree with them. They're amazing. They want the best for their region, and I don't blame them. I want the best for my country as well. I do.
Cultural mindset that would manage to trickle down and embed itself into everything, into our language, our attitudes, and ultimately our way of being when we are in someone else's land, even long after the empire itself collapsed. Alright, so you kind of get it, right? Britain does a load of killing, torturing, and persecuting, and that stuff, you can probably imagine after a while that gets a little bit stressful, a little bit tiring. And what better way to deal with all of that stress than to pack your bags and go on holiday?
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday.
So the first Brits abroad, you know, on holiday were kind of, those colonial officers, right? Because, the bros needed some downtime as well. And it'd be the way that the colonial officers and their families, how they would spend their leisure time abroad, that in a way would create the modern day template for the Brit on holiday. So there's a number.
The ones who were doing that back in the day, Victorian and Edwardian era, middle class and upper middle class and all your posh cunts. There's a schism between them. Ooh. They did, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, I participate in electoral politics here, I have to. It's a little bit more constrained here, don't get me wrong. But we are growing in power, we're growing, well, at least we're getting heard a bit more. I appreciate that, it's amazing being able to reach out and actually say to people, the way this country's run, fucking shit. I want to change it. Please help me change it. And there's plenty of places across the globe, across the countries, everywhere, who want to see the same changes that I do. I'll say again, the communist. I'd be fine, don't get me wrong, I am kind of a gradualist because I live here in the global north. I'm not, I don't consider myself a chav. I'm rather intelligent. I'd want to go and actually see what the place is like. Check out their history, their local culture. Talk to people who live there, who have made their homes there. I want information to see how people live and what it's like there. Don't get me wrong, I'd still drink and stuff. They do, yeah. Just because I didn't go to private education doesn't mean I'm not intelligent. That infuriates me so fucking much. Just because I didn't pay to go to school, just fucking shut it. I did actually have a decent education when I was younger, thanks. Me no chav. Me no speak chav. I don't speak Ned either. Just because I don't sound like you doesn't mean I'm not intelligent and not and that I can't comment on how this country's run. So get wrecked.
There are very interesting places around the world. A place called Simla, and also another place called Darjeeling. These were places that were built purely for British officials. And just look at these videos. It's insane. This looks identical to Britain, but it is in India.
For 7 months of the year, the entire population of Simla conspired to pretend that they were not in Asia at all, but somewhere in the more fashionable corners of Surrey, a fantasy the mock Tudor architecture reinforced. For above all, Simla was about Englishness. The town was certainly an escape from the heat of the plains, but it was also, tacitly, an escape from India.
You also had areas called cantonment or civil lines. These were neighborhoods where only white Europeans were literally allowed to be. We would also set up things like the Hong Kong Club. Again, a whites-only gentleman club where the local Chinese and also women were excluded from being in. Hong Kong had also the place called Victoria Park, another European enclave. This place legally barred almost all Chinese people from living there. So yeah, we would literally go to places, rebuild Britain there, and even give things British names, and then either ban the locals from going there entirely, or if they were there, they could work as labourers. And to be totally clear, it wasn't just the British doing this. The French up in Algiers, the Dutch in Batavia.
Praise be, John the Brazen is here. Hi, John. Yeah, I got the same label as well when I went on, it's called Dog Eyes, it's up in Persian and stuff. And some of my friends who I went to school with and stuff, they went to, basically public school, they went to the same school as I did, not VPing in any sort of way, but they were the richer families, upper middle class essentially. They were reluctant to call me chaff. Some of them did call me a chaff behind my back and stuff. Or an aide. They literally called me uneducated when I was at school. Thanks. No, I'm not. That's not true. Just because I sound different from you doesn't mean I'm any less intelligent. Thanks. Do I sound unintelligent to anyone here? I hope I don't. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with unintelligent. I want to educate people, obviously. Just don't call us chavs or neds or uneducated, because we went through school here in Britain, here in Scotland, thanks. Thank you, Poco. I do try to sound intelligent. And in some ways I am. There is a distinction with when we go abroad. A lot of Scots are actually quite chill. We just want to go there and basically relax, escape the grind of actually being poor and Scottish essentially. Enjoy the culture, go to the beach, get sunburned because we're fucking idiots. Please, any desperately white people who have the same skin tone as me, look, I'm fucking transparent, basically. Use sunblock, I beg of yous. We're at risk of getting sunburnt to fuck. I try to limit my risk, essentially. I use factor 50, because I burn like a bitch. It is not fun. And being bright red and wanting to claw at yourself, no. Ugh. There's a distinction with when a lot of Scots, especially lower working class or lower middle class Scots, if you wish, if you want to put me in that sort of grouping. I'm still working class, don't get me wrong. Still poor as fuck. But I do try to enjoy the culture that I'd want to go to if I go on holiday to these places. I'm not... I would hope I wouldn't come across as like that. I really don't. I want to put a positive spin on British people going over on holiday to places. I really do. Oh, you down Lark Hall? Ooh. I've been to Lark Hall once, and that was many years ago. Alright. What's it like down in Lark Hall, actually, just living there? It is unique living up here in Springburn, by the way. Don't get me wrong, I love Springburn, it's quite good. My bus connections are fucking shit because First Glasgow suck. You might have experience with First Glasgow, obviously, Omaha. Go to Bath. Or if you want to see lovely architecture as well, I would urge you to come up here to Glasgow as well. But yeah, go to Bath. Bath is fucking amazing. I haven't been down to Bath yet, but I've friends and family members who have been visited for holidays and stuff who've been down to Bath. Said you need to go down there, Katie. You really do. Come over to Glasgow, Foco. Glasgow's awesome. Lots of different types of restaurants and stuff, lots of touristy typey things you can do. The Merchant City is gorgeous. They're basically tobacco barns. You know that lovely golden triangle? No, the triangle trade. So essentially, slavery. Fun. Lots of the buildings in parts of Glasgow city centre, especially the Merchant City, they were all built by tobacco barons. So we're talking about the late 1700s up until like the early 1910s, essentially, most of these buildings were built. They're gorgeous, but they were built by the tobacco and slave money. I've been to York. York's gorgeous. I love York. York is amazing. So is Boston,
these
oddly enough.
colonial leisure areas were setting a precedent, and that was that when Brits go abroad, we build Little Britons with our own bars, our own churches, newspapers, gardens, and most importantly, the locals have to orbit around that. They have to work for us and service us because we held the wealth and the power in that dynamic. And that was really it, right? The only engagement with local culture was either when, locals worked in these places, or we might sort of superficially engage with local culture in a stylized version as entertainment.
Vice Regal Lodge gave Simla a building in which the pomp and circumstance of the Raj could be fully expressed. But for the residents of Simla, it was above all a place for imperial entertainment.
We might watch dances or traditional performances, may even go on tiger hunts, visit bazaars. But all of these cultural activities were always tailored and commodified to our taste and our preferences. But you see, it would be a bit later, right, into the 20th century, as the empire started to crack, where something new appeared. The mass tourist Brit. Before we go any further with this video, I want to give a massive shout out to today's sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is the #1 platform for building your own custom, beautiful, amazing website. For me, the best bit is the cutting edge design tools. By using their Blueprint AI, anyone can have a perfectly customized and bespoke website. You can just tell the AI what your industry is, what your goals are for the website, and it will create a personally designed website filled with content and an amazing looking design. And from their award-winning templates, you can just pick and choose any of the designs that you like and really make your website stand out. A massive part of businesses these days is having an email marketing list so that you can send out things like product updates and events, etc. Squarespace allows you to make them as well as managing them and sending them out. Literally any time in the past that I've needed to make a website, I've always used Squarespace. It's simple, easy to use, and enjoyable. So be sure to head to squarespace.com to start your free trial. And when you're ready to launch the website, go to squarespace.com/Jimmy the Giant to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Anyway, back to the video. Post-World War II, right, it was a perfect storm. Workers now had paid holiday, more free time, rising wages, and consumer culture. This, combined with technological advances in the aviation industry, meant that flying abroad was no longer only reserved for the military or the super rich. And it would be one country in particular that would see this potential burgeoning market and go all in, and that was Spain. So if you picture Spain now and, like, you know, all the stereotypes you can think of, chill dudes, relaxed, nudist beaches, people, I don't know, shaking their hips and being smooth daddies. Spain back in the days was not that, right? 1939 to 1975, Spain was under the control of Francisco Franco, a fascist dictator. And that came with everything you would expect a fascist dictatorship to have. Censorship, political prisons, people being tortured and shot for being on the wrong side of the civil war. As you might hear that and think, well, hang on a second, I'm not sure that's going to play very well in like a top 10 places you should visit guide. And you're right, you know, in the beginning, this was a big problem. And diplomatically, Spain was definitely on the naughty step, right? They didn't fight in World War II, but they were definitely helping the Nazis to, you know, economically, sharing intelligence, etc.
Never forget this. Franco was a fascist. Spain might have been neutral. They were classed as neutral. We weren't really. But yeah, Francisco Franco was truly despotic. A horrible, horrible human being. I feel for my Spanish comrades. No pasaran. Fuck it. Break. I'll play this song for obvious reasons. What's video look into? There we go.
And 10 years before I saw the light, I come that ship of heroes from every corner of the world can sail. The 15th International Brigade, they came to stand beside the Spanish people to try and stem the rising fascist tide. Franco's allies were the powerful and wealthy.
Correct, John. Yeah. And from the other side.
Even the olives believe as the battle for Madrid thunder to root and love against the force of evil, brotherhood against the fascist blood.
Viva la Quinta Vergara. No pasaran. Around his side. Let us remember them tonight.
Bob Hillard was the Church of Ireland pastor. From Killarney across the Pyrenees he came. From there he came a brave young Christian brother. Side by side they fought and died in Spain. And Tommy Woods at 17 died in Cordoba. But with Vienna he learned to hold the gun. From Dublin to the Rio, where he fought and died beneath the sun.
Viva la Quinta Vergara. No pasaran, the flights that never left. The country is around his side.
heard the call of Franco. Joined Hitler and Mussolini.
Mussolini too. Because of these defections, I'm still feeling a bit salty, John. Really. They haven't, not yet at least. They may actually change. We're watching the space, let's put it that way. Ellie did say when she defected, this is the best way we're going to get Scottish independence. I need more evidence, really. I do. Scottish Greens want independence. It's been our stated claim for the best part of 2 decades at this point. Omaha, my comrade. Depending on who your MSP is, and who actually runs in me, though Ellie does seem naive, doesn't she? Sorry, Ellie. Sorry. I have my faith in Ross and Gillian. I really do. Praise be my gorgeous ginger twink. I love Ross. He's going to do good things. He is a great speaker. He is a great orator. And he's doing rather well in Holyrood. Praise be, Ross Greer. And Gillian's doing good work as well. I love the pair of them. They're going to be so good for us. And obviously we've still got Patrick. He's still an MSP. Praise be Patrick Harvey. He's doing well as well. Plus you've got me, my Scottish woman. I'm here to promote independence and better policy within Holyrood. I want better policy for Westminster. Is that possible? Who knows? I am doubtful though. Zach Polanski seems to be doing well. Thanks, Zach. Doing good work. Hopefully with pressure from the left, especially from the the England and Wales Greens, and up here in Scotland with the Scottish Green Party, we might actually be able to shift the dial even just a little bit. Obviously, I want more. Obviously. Will I see this British government moving? Doubtful. She had the best topo stare in the Scottish Greens as if she wanted to be an MSP. Trust me, she did. She was actually quite an active voice in the Glasgow branch. Then she moved over saying that your party is the best movement for Scottish independence. We've been working for this for fucking decades against the tide of this neoliberal fucking BS. Ellie, you know that. You've been part of you were part of the Scottish Greens for a good few years. You know this. You knew how the Glasgow branch worked. And you just went up and left? I'm sorry, get wrecked. I'm still going to be salty for a while. I explained that to my green comrades on Saturday. Said, well, we're here to maybe soften you a bit. Said, I can't. Betrayal always stings to me. I've been betrayed too many times politically by friends before. In movements I was part of. It still fucking hurts. It's going to take me a bit to actually get over that betrayal. Her leaving like that defection. I might be able to change, watch this space. But yeah, betrayal, sucks.
The propaganda from the pulpit and newspaper have dug the field to gather a mystery. And the word came from the church support the Nazis. Then at last they failed again.
People seem to forget that. The Catholic Church actually supported them. In some ways shielding the church, and in some ways in certain people within the bureaucracy of the Catholic Church actually supported what the Nazis were doing. Delightful. But yeah, they gave soft cover to the fucking fascist bastards. So no, the Catholic Church can get wrecked as far as I'm fucking concerned.
The ships bless the blue shirts down in Galway as they sail beneath the swastika to Spain. Viva la Quinta Brigada. No pass around the flag ship never died. Adamante is a crying out the hillside. Let us remember them. And this song is a tribute to
Bill and Ryan.
It's Conway and Vinnie Cody too. Peter Daly, Charlie Regan and Hugh Bonner. So many died again but never fear. Danny Boyle, Leslie Brown and Charlie Dunphy. Liam Tomlinson and Jim Straney from Short Strand. Jack Nelty, Tommy Patton and Frank Conroy. Jim Foley, Tony Fox and Dick O'Neill. Viva la Quinta Brigada. No pass around the flags that never fight. Adelante is a cry around the hillside. Let us remember them tonight. Let us remember them tonight. Viva la
Quinta Brigada.
Let us
remember them tonight. I forgot to mention this, the one that I go to immediately. Do you see where this is coming from? Look. I've been so many times to the Barrowlands, I've lost track. So many based bands, but brilliant bands. I'm not entirely, some of them not entirely based. The Pantera still exists. They have, John. They have. Endlessly delightful. I used to be anti-abortion, by the way, because I couldn't actually have kids of my own. Said if you can get pregnant, you have to carry on with that pregnancy. You have to carry on with that childbirth. Deeply problematic to me now in my current stance. Don't get me wrong, we all learn and grow and stuff. I'm glad I've moved from that position. My body, my choice. Thanks. Not being able to participate in life bearing, bringing forth children. Still kind of upset that I'm not a mum. Don't get me wrong. In some ways it is for the best. I live vicariously through my nieces and nephews, obviously. I want all the best for those 4 individuals. They're amazing. I love my 2 nephews. One of them is absolutely mental. Cracking young dude, don't get me wrong. And he's curious about white leftist. And I tell him, because my sister's given me access to the boys. But being racist, being against Jewish people. All convicted, my dude. Oh, right. My best friend's Jewish. He doesn't go. His parents go to synagogue. Good for them. Good for them. I might be atheist, but I'm all for each to their own. If they are a person of faith, be them Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Muslim, Hindi, Buddhist, Taoist. Fuck it, even Hellenist. Hi, Hellenist here. I'm interested in the history of the Hellenic city-states and Hellenistic religion. Apparently there are still Olympian people, the people who still worship to the Olympian gods and goddesses. Good for them! Some of the Olympian gods are fucking crazy. That's why I'm so interested in it. Each to their own, with their own faith. If they're good, if they're leftists and promote the things that I love and talk about, yes, carry on, have your faith. Quite a lot of the Marxists, quite a lot of the MLs and Trotskyists, some of the Trotskyists are actually Catholics and they still go to Mass. Curious about that one, really. Upbringing is a major factor, obviously. Ah! Sorry. I keep on doing that. There we go.
Let us remember them.
And you might think, you know, for a principled democratic nation like Britain, that is going to be a step too far for us. But you see, my friends, we were able to look past all of that stuff, because on the long list of people who are in Franco's torture camps, you know, aside from the Jews, Protestants, the Roma, the gays, there was one other group on that list, and that was the communists.
In an official declaration, Generalissimo Francisco Franco states that his government will not join the German-Italian-Japanese alliance against communism. But he says that he will extirpate communism in Spain. He argues that the world will be grateful to the nationalists for the fight they are making. And he says that the duty of the future in Spain will be work.
So yeah, by 2050, which is 5 years after our war with fascism, very quietly, the West decided that it needed the fascist dictator Franco on side to fight our new enemy, the USSR. So now basically, yeah, we're homies again. You know, everything's good and we start doing business with the Spanish. And a key part of that and how it relates to this story is that we signed a deal in 1950, which allowed British European Airways to fly into Spain. And like, this is obviously much bigger than tourism, right? It wasn't just that the British government felt that Baz and Suze needed to expand their horizons and try some paella.
Some say paella, some say paella, but what we say is, it's really, really good food.
There's much more politics to it than that, because you see, at the time, Britain had some very strict foreign currency limits. Ordinary people were only allowed to hold a very small amount of foreign currency. So the British Treasury could actually see a lot of benefit to the idea of cheap, nearby holidays where you pay most of your money in British sterling, booking the flight, the hotel through a British tour company, and you would only need to take a little bit of Spanish pesetas to pay for your pints and shitty souvenirs. You see, before the British working class were flying out to Spain, they were more often holidaying within Britain, in places like Blackpool. And that's good for like a local economy, but you see, Spain offers something strategically more than that. By boosting the British airline industry and British package tour holiday companies, this means that you're building up a wider aviation and services infrastructure. Infrastructure that can also move business people, executives, and high-value goods all around the world. Every single EasyJet flight with pissed up lads on the way to Benidorm helps justify investment into new planes, bigger airports, and more airline routes internationally. This is great for an economy. It's great for...
Yes, Omaha. Red Scare. Delightful. In some ways it still exists over there, unfortunately. Don't get me wrong, there's people that I talk to on a regular basis who are trying to fight that inherent imperialism and colonialism within America. It is fun. It's a steep climb, essentially. Politically steep climb. And socially as well. Fun! Ha 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 ha! Praise be to my American comrades. On the chill side, Red Rust 308, who gives chill space, oxygen not included, Baldur's Gate 3, Terraria, games like Balatro and other card-based games. Red Rust is amazing. Praise be Red Rust. Plus you've got Raptor Blue, who discusses politics as well, black radicalism. He is a black radical. Praise be Raptor Blue. He is awesome. And on the chill side again, his main mod, and my main mod, praise be Shanna Cranky Pants. I love her desperately. Chill. She watches fun videos, some deep dives. Yes, Honduras getting spicy. And praise be, based anarchist Australian, Story Girl. Praise be Story Girl. Hi Gemma. Capricorn is amazing. Go and follow Capricorn. You have Cappy herself, who's the main channel, and you have Shanna Cranky Pants. She is amazing. Praise be Shanna. I will use her call word. Werewolf. You know what? I will go into the Discord and shout werewolf to see if I can get my sweetie. Where be my darling? Give me my darling. That'll be 2 nights in a row. Oh. Let's see if that works. She does indeed. She does indeed. Be nice to my main mod. And obviously be nice to me.
Exporters, it's great for city firms.
Gemma, darling, where do Australians go on holiday? Generally curious, actually. I would assume other parts of Australia. Oh, bye Omaha. Wherever they want. Where do you go on holiday? Thank you, Omaha. Always a pleasure. Thank you for being here. Stay hydrated. Not necessarily with the beer. Self-care's good care. Stay based. Free Palestine. And the laugh at colonialism. Ding, 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 ding. I hear you, darling. I hear you. There are places in Scotland that I can get to. Free bus travel. Be amazing. So I can get to anywhere in Scotland, really. I just have to travel to it on bus. And cheap rail fare for me as well. NZ, Bali, Japan, States, over here aren't uncommon. Yeah. Oh yeah, we get Australian tourists here in Glasgow, obviously. And so do other parts of the UK. Ah, yeah, Singapore as well. Super hubby has been to Singapore. I say the furthest afield I have been is Dublin. Don't worry, I'll try to get abroad. It would mostly be to either Spain, France, parts of Germany, maybe the Nordics. Ah! I thought that might work. I just wanted to see how you're doing. Hi, darling. Praise be, the mod is here. How goes it, my dear? I'm doing well. I just thought I'd call you over. No need to stay. Yeah, I have noticed that a lot of Thailand, Indonesia, places like that would be rather easy. Was it 7 or 8 hour flight, isn't it? Obviously, getting over here to the colonial homeland is like over a day's travel. Was it 23 fucking hours with 2 laybys for refueling and shit, which just fucking hell. I don't travel well at the best of times, so me getting to Australia will be fun. Oh, you're just about to head into Alienation. Cool. I will be over momentarily after the Jimmy the Giant video. How long's left? So about half an hour. Don't delay for me or anything. I will be over to say hello. Shall we continue? Thanks, darling, for coming over. I just wanted to see if Werewolf worked. Yeah, the way the series worked, it'd be easy. That's what that refueling stop and being able to see the culture that we created in Singapore. Fun. Some of those places still exist, and they're woven into the structure of how Singapore actually operates as a political entity. Fun. Lasting effects of colonialism. Great.
It's great for whoever owns the airlines. And like, yeah, you know, so what if it completely destroys the internal British tourism industry? Turning once thriving towns like Blackpool from this to this, you know, you gotta break a few eggs to make an omelette. In 1950, you get the first mass charter from Gatwick to Corsica. This is led by a company called Horizon Holidays, owned by Vladimir Rates. By 1952, he's sending people to Palma, and 1954 to Costa Brava. And what Horizon Holidays were offering was all-inclusive holidays. So it would include your flight, your hotel or tent if you want to save money for beer. It would also include food that you would get at the hotel. So just think about, you know, what this is selling to a British person, right? You basically don't need to do anything. You don't need to know any of the language.
I'll be back momentarily. I'll let this play. I will be back. Oh. Yeah, Red Rust. Raptor Blue. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. Oh, emotional blackmail through childbirth. I've got issues. Oof. They've always done vote riggery, Dan. We know this. The Electoral College still exists. I'll carry on playing. I will be back momentarily, comrades. Thank you. Bio break.
Language. You don't need to go to a local restaurant. You don't need to do anything. You hop on a flight, land in Spain, and everything is taken care of for you because you are a glorious British bastard. And old fascist Franco, he goes all in on this shit. In 1951, he makes the Ministry of Information and Tourism because they see this as a perfect solution for Spain's struggling economy. By the mid-60s, they come up with this brand name slogan, which is Spain is different. And, you know, they had posters of flamencos, bull rings, white villages, Blue Sea. And yeah, you know, they might have been a little bit quiet about the secret police, the political prisoners and all the torture. But look at these cool hats you can wear. But you see, it was only a matter of time before this tension of culture, where you could take a ton of Brits and other Northern European tourists and place them into hyper-conservative fascist Spain before they might clash against an authoritarian state. And you would hear reports of British women being fined for wearing bikinis, tourists being arrested for, you know, going on a boat during religious ceremonies. But there would be one really big moment in 1971, the Passage Behonia raid. Basically, Passage Behonia was this alleyway in Torremolinos known for being a little bit LGBTQ friendly. And like, you know, it was fun. The tourists liked going there. This was kind of an attraction. And one day the police just came in, did a massive raid. 23 businesses were closed down, several were fined, and between 100 and 300 people, many of which were tourists, were arrested. This crushed tourism in the area and obviously crushed the LGBTQ scene there, and was a bit of a blow to Spain's reputation for tourism. However, ultimately, tourism was a massive cash cow for Franco's regime, who was in desperate need to keep the trade coming. And so there would be one key location that would change everything, and that was Benidorm. So Benidorm went from a struggling, poor fishing town into basically a British playground. Not just in the demographic makeup of the people there, not just in the food, the shops, the signage, but also they literally changed the law to accommodate British tourists. Long before the Passage Behonia raid, all the way back in 1956, Benidorm's mayor, by the name of Pedro Zaragoza, he looked around and he realized, right, all these strict conservative rules of fascist Spain were kind of like going to harsh the vibe for tourists. You know, if you want to win the tourist game, you kind of can't put people in jail for wearing a bikini. So he comes in, right, and he starts rewriting the rules. He rewrites regulations around buildings, allows the building of high-rise apartment blocks. He courts all of the...
Oh no, I heard that, I could hear it. And yeah, I know about that raid as well. Fun! Hello, I'm bisexual, by the way. So I'm part of the rainbow. And yeah, I do research into LGBTQ history across Europe and the world. Generally, mostly Europe, obviously, here in Britain, parts of the continent and stuff. So yeah, I knew about that one. Fun. Ah. Yeah, arresting tourists. And arresting LGBTQ plus people. Fun. Fantastic. These things do be happening. They have been happening for a while, to say the least. It's fun, isn't it? I'm here to change things, obviously. Give me a second to get myself sorted again. Yep. Oh, that's better. Taking the pressure off my poor blighted ankles and knees. Always good.
These international tour package companies, and most famously, he jumps on a Vespa to Madrid to meet with Franco directly to get his blessing to make a bylaw to allow sunbathers to wear bikinis, and also to make it illegal for local Spanish people to insult the tourists. And these laws only applied for the tourists, right? So a local Spaniard wasn't allowed to wear a bikini, only foreigners. And of course, the church was absolutely outraged by this. They were terrified that the average Spaniard man would be corrupted by the alluring influence of fair-skinned, scantily clad foreigners. And I just want you to think about that, how much the cultural stereotype of Spanish people has changed, to the point that when we even make TV shows about Benidorm, the Spanish character is stereotyped as being hypersexual and preying on every woman in sight. Whereas back then, the stereotype was that they were super religious conservatives. But you see, right, much like how Britain through the East India Tea Company was able to strong arm the Indians and take over and impose their rules and culture legally in our colonies, the opportunity for big money led to Benidorm completely transforming itself into what has been labelled Blackpool in the sun.
Do you book them? Do you have to book on a morning to get them? At 6 o'clock? So just as we're going home? Somebody on these? Well, we'll get on them, shall we? We'll be all right on these? Yes, aye. Come back when they come back, can't they? No, we can't get it looking. There's gear on there, we better not use them. No.
Not just Blackpool in the sun, but I have also heard it referred to as a council estate in the Sun. Now you might hear that and you might gather that, yeah, there's a bit of a class angle to the topic of Benidorm. Benidorm has become synonymous as a low-class, white working-class holiday that is cheap and cheerful, sort of lads on tour, just a wild place for the British people to devolve into some kind of pre-human state.
Are you alright, mate?
Now, fucking Benidorm's ruined me.
Endless stories of drunk British people fighting, you know, casual sex, doing drugs, generally being obnoxious, and even as much as stabbings. It even has its own English square, English signage everywhere, the Red Lion pub, and it has become the quintessential place where a British person gets off of a plane, checks into the hotel and barely leaves the hotel, and eats nothing but full English breakfasts, British dinners, and spends the evenings watching football.
It's not life or death, it's just a game.
So strong is this stereotype that there has been an entire...
I know I'm only me. There's only one of me. Could the world handle another Casey? Who knows? I wouldn't be like that. I wouldn't. I'd want to check out the local history, the local culture. Be a little bit investigative, if you wish. And just sit and relax. Not out of the direct sun, obviously, because look at me. I will say again, I burn like a bitch. I'd want to check out the local history, how the place got established and what it's like there. A little bit different in my interests. I'd just basically chilling. Getting out of the Scottish rain, essentially. I love my homeland. I love living here in Glasgow. I love Scotland. I love my country desperately. I want the best for it, for obvious reasons. Being able to get away to the sun, even if it's just Spain, just to chill and relax. Have some authentic Spanish food. Talk to the locals. See if I can find other socialists and Marxists. No, pass it on.
A 9-season documentary series called Barging Lovin' Brits in the Sun. Also, a hit TV show by the name Benidorm. And it's really, really interesting to me if you cast your mind back to our earlier explanations of the way that the colonial officers came in and treated areas like India and Hong Kong, etc. Benidorm, all these years later, is interacted with in a very, very similar manner. However, it is done so by a very, very different class of Brit. And so you have to wonder, is this like a coincidence? Or is there something that connects this approach?
Bye, Dan. Rejoice. Dan McLeith. He be beast. Bye, Dan. Feel free to reach out to me if you just want to talk or anything. Discord's always open. Stay hydrated, not necessarily with Stella. Self-care is good care. Stay based. Free Palestine. And tell these obnoxious Brits who go on holiday, especially to Benidorm, to behave themselves. Bye, my darling. Bye, Beast. I will catch you later. Bye. And if you want, I can help you start streaming if you want. More base Scots are needed, obviously. Take care of yourself, alright?
Approach to tourism that is embedded in British culture. So what we see in Benidorm is a mirror of this colonial thing, where British standards and British taste, etc., set the tempo for much of the area. It guides when bars might open, what's going to be served on the menu, what music gets played, when you're going to find people out in the streets chanting football songs. But the difference is, yeah, it's not upper class men in linen suits. It's largely white working class British people who, if they were back home, they would be at the absolute bottom of the class pile. They wouldn't be setting the pace and the tempo of life. Their pace and tempo of life would be set on to them by work hours, if they can afford to go out, if they can pay rent, etc. However, suddenly, now, they are on the top rung of a very specific social ladder of Benidorm.
The main reason for its popularity?
Massively cheap over here. Ridiculously cheap.
And it's interesting because that touches on something deeper. No matter how low down the class structure they might be in the UK, this shows us that in the global hierarchy, they do have a class privilege, being British in an English-speaking tourist world. And part of it is simply just about money. Cheap flights, plus packaged holidays, plus British wages, British holiday allowance, and pensions means that, yeah, historically Brits were uniquely valuable as tourists. And if enough spending comes from one particular group of people, it is very likely that the built environment will bend around them and their behaviours, their tastes, and their preferences. But there is something specific about being British that isn't just about money. And it's the fact that British, and more broadly speaking, Anglo-American culture is kind of the default setting for a lot of global tourism. English is the service language. Staff are trained for you first. Premier League football matches will be on television. British and American music is going to be played at the clubs. Bars and clubs are going to time when they host their big nights, often around English football fixtures. And being British and English speaking even just gives you more power when it comes to like reviews, because if you leave a bad review on TripAdvisor, that's going to have a wider effect than someone speaking Swahili. Our passports as well, they're some of the most powerful on earth. They're a bit shitter now. We are often welcomed into most countries on earth like a guest, right? We don't have to apply for visas, or if we do, it's very easy. Whereas if you're a person who is born somewhere outside of Europe, the idea of trying to be a tourist into a nation like Britain or America is like a gamble. You go in thinking you're going to get rejected from your visa. And this power dynamic even shows in just like advertising, right? When we see these old adverts from the 80s of Spain and all these kind of places, typically the main thing they spoke about was just how cheap it was.
You know how good Horizon Holidays are? Well, now they brought out a new brochure with even lower prices. Hundreds of thousands of holidays at prices much less than last summer. That's not just better, that's priceless.
And it's because in the dynamic, in this sales dynamic, Spain wants you and your money here. So they're trying to make it really appealing that it's super cheap and super great for you, because they, back then, didn't really have a lot of, like, cultural capital. The adverts weren't saying, look, come and enjoy amazing Spanish history. Come and see how we live in our country and how we do things. It wasn't that, because you and your money, you held the power and not the culture of Spain itself. And I want us to really think about this, right? Because it is this dynamic that seeps into the British mentality in the way that we engage with foreign culture in general. And that is that part of the British attitude is to benchmark everything against the British standard.
See, out of all the places, this is the place that I'm worried about the most.
Why?
Just the way they live, they're different.
What, Chinese people?
They just wreck everything. They make everything weird. That's what I'm worried about.
Expand on this, I don't understand what you mean.
Everything. Chicken. Why is it orange in Chinatown?
Very specific example, right? But we've probably all recognised it, where you've gone to a hotel and they have only a continental breakfast.
Continental breakfast?
Yes, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
And someone might say the phrase, I want a proper breakfast. Proper meaning a British breakfast. And like, we might just say it and we might not mean much by it, but the phrase proper is so loaded. It basically implies that everything else is
weird,
a bit different, a bit unusual. Maybe it's not my cup of tea. And I think it is structural to a degree. When Spain wanted to attract British tourists in the early days, they built it for us. There was no expectations placed upon us that we should challenge ourselves to immerse ourselves in a different culture. We expect that we can walk into any restaurant and in English say, do you guys do a full English breakfast? And they will say yes.
I think it works in Benidorm, the pies and pasties, because it's home from home.
And there's another part of British culture, which is that we are culturally encouraged to always pass a judgment and give our subjective opinion on things that we experience.
The way they write, the letters are weird. Their alphabet's not like ours. Theirs are like someone testing out a biro. Everything.
Carl, my dude, our language is the outsider because our language has been, I don't want to use corrupted, it has been modified, if you wish, by the colonial imperial aspect of Britishness and Englishness and Scottishness and everything like that. Our language is the outsider. Lots of France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Romania, Portugal, parts of Greece, Turkey, they all have a common base. Essentially, lots of the Romance languages, they all have a common base that they can all kind of rely on to speak to each other, different type of speaker across Europe. We are the outsider. Our language has been completely, corrupted. I don't care. And what we've used and what we've adopted into the English language, which makes it difficult for us to actually speak to Romance languages and North African and African languages and East Asian languages as well. It doesn't. Our language is the outsider, but it's been adopted for economic reasons, let's put it that way, especially with tourism and the lower part of Europe. How did I get that across to people? I kind of fumbled my way through that one. It's difficult trying to explain how English as a language works in Europe. Oh, you're over on YouTube. Correct, John. You are correct. Yes. After that, the dissemination of our language, if you remember your interlocutors, people, it is weird because trying to fit English into actually speaking with other types of peoples across Europe and across the globe. Rather difficult, because they hear us with our accents and the way we use our words and structure our sentences and stuff. It does come across as a little bit more uppity because of previous experience, cultural experience and historical experience. It's fun. I want to try and break that down, saying we're not all like that. Really, I'm not like that. I might not speak your language, but I would hope I would have common ground with you. I would hope about that one at least.
There's no logic to anything that they do.
And that's so normal to us that it feels weird I'm even pointing it out. But if we look at different cultures, a lot of Eastern European cultures or maybe some Asian cultures as well, they don't place their tastes and their standards above to be judged against. But if anything, they might place themselves a little bit below and feel that they need to put the effort to try and learn and expand what they understand.
Making my Ukrainian girlfriend try classic British dishes until she likes them.
I like the idea. It's really British, isn't it?
Would you eat it again?
Jagged potato.
It's a tiny thing, and I'm not deep in it too much, that's just how we are, kinda. But it is this same underlying habit that we have, which is that Britain is the standard, and everything else must be rated against it. So if we take this cultural blueprint that is given to us, and then you put it inside a cheap flight packaged holiday where British money and the English language carries extra weight, you get exactly what you see in Benidorm. A modern day colonial outpost, to the point that we put our own flags up there and then complain about having our British...
I'm all here for the widespread acknowledgement and good tastiness that is haggis. I know it's not for everyone, but I am here to promote haggis. Haggis rocks. Anyone who disagrees with me, you're incorrect. Go away. Shout out to all my haggis lovers in my community. Haggis rules. Don't get me wrong, I like a fried breakfast. Mine's is a little bit lesser. I don't like beans. Sorry, and I don't like fried eggs. I like bacon, I like black pudding, I like Lorne and Link. I like tatty scone. I like French toast. I love the strongest coffee known to man, with no sugar and just a touch of milk. Strong as fuck. I need the caffeine in the morning, obviously. I love curry. I can't, whenever anyone hears the word paella or paella, they think of this dish. I can't do that dish. I'm deathly allergic to crustaceans and mollusks, so like all of them. I like the rice. I like the spicing. I like the veg. I can't do shellfish, any of them at all, ever. Anaphylaxis. Not fun. Oh, you're back over here. Yeah, that's literally what it is. It's a big, chunky looking sausage with spicing and quite a lot of pepper in some recipes. I love haggis. Haggis bacora fucking rocks. Please try haggis bacora if you get the chance. It is based. It is rather delicious. And it is very filling.
Identity suppressed.
Look at this behind me. This is the Red Lion Bar in the middle of Benidorm, and this street is actually laced with Union Jacks, George's Cross, Scottish Salters, the Irish tricolour, and the Union Jack.
We come to other people's country, and we respect their flag and their views, and then you have people coming to our country and they're throwing paddies about having our flag up. Why can't they come to our country and just respect our views and stuff like that?
At the root of it, right, what is happening is that we don't...
Give me more Gemma, please, my darling. My mind's a bit all over the place at the minute.
See a place like Benidorm as a real place where real people live. We see it as a playground. And to be fair to us, it was quite literally sold to us in that way. But what we need to remember is it's
losing the ability to breathe is rather bad for us humans. Don't get me wrong, I'm the only one that's got anaphylaxis with in regards to that. A couple of my cousins, they have unfortunate digestive consequences of eating shellfish. Mostly crab and prawn, essentially. It's still a funny word. Trying to explain it to people is rather difficult. Your own immune system works against you and tries to choke you to death. Fun. Ah. Oh God, where is it? Oh God, I've put it back in my EpiShot is up in my first aid bag. It's just behind, just over there, just in front of me a bit. I have to be careful, but the Super Hubby helps as well, obviously. tell them, please be careful. Anaphylaxis, not fun. No, not fun. How did I find that out? Christmas party when I was still living up in Perth, working in Scottish Hydroelectric. Christmas party. Had a crab stick. That's the last thing I remember. Talking to people, having a good time, talking about the year that we just had in the office, essentially, our office complex. And I woke up, the first person I saw standing over me was my mum. I said, what the fuck did you do to yourself? I ate this and that's all I remember. And she checked my chart. Oh dear God, you're allergic. Yes. Fun. Looking up at the worried face of your mother, yes, endlessly delightful. Let's put it like that. She was rather worried at the time, and I don't fucking blame her.
The power dynamic that matters here. When a whole town, many miles away, can be bent around British money, it quietly tells us this isn't somewhere that you need to respect. This is somewhere that is built for you. And I don't think it's that British people are uniquely evil or something. I think it's the fact that British culture here is very repressive, very controlled. We have a binge drinking culture because that has been socially accepted as our only place where we can be ourselves and let go a bit. And so Benidorm becomes the place where we can be our worst selves and don't worry, because the locals will clean up after you. It's like that's the sort of, the Brit abroad working class Brit done and put aside. But then you have to wonder, right, if you take that same cultural software but put it in a Brit who has maybe more money, maybe more education, maybe they're professionals, and maybe a bit more cultural capital, what happens then? Well, my friends, you get the middle class Brit abroad.
What have you been doing? I'm just here for a few days. Okay, well, please, come stay with us. 100% come stay with us. I can't. I would love to, but I've got to go back and finish my book. You can finish your book at our place, so stay with us for as long as you want. It'll be epic. I'll film Matt, and these two are, like, best buds back in the day.
Yes. Yes, perhaps. Obviously, the middle class and upper middle class here in the UK society, they do have a lot of cultural capital, if you want to put it like that. And they go abroad. They spread our influence. They speak in rather, maybe not clipped, but rather more eloquent, if you want to put it like that. Don't get me wrong, I can speak like that as well. In some ways, I am a chameleon. I've interacted with upper middle class and rich fucking bastards. I know how to speak their language. I do manage to disguise myself through my education and things like that. And the fact that I am actually quite learned and I do research and stuff like that. I can hold my own, obviously. Hence the reason for the stream. To spread the knowledge of a mad Scottish Marxist woman. Hello. Mad Scottish woman here. Hi. Don't get me wrong, I can be I can be working class as fuck, obviously. I do be poor. I do be angry. I try to limit how much rage I go through. Don't get me wrong, lots of things give me rage and I keep them in here. Just simmering on the back boil, essentially. Case in point, I covered one of them last night. Piers Morgan. Still a wanker. Who'd have thunk it? These Towie bastards. More than likely, still wankers. Again, who'd have thunk it?
Boulay would lead Jamie astray. What? Quite regularly. He's a very bad influence, this guy.
Now, the middle-class Brit abroad, he's not going to Benidorm. No. In fact, the opposite. They've built their entire personality around not being the type of Brit that goes to Benidorm. You know, we don't go there with the riffraff. No, we prefer to experience real, authentic Spain. Often, these people will tend to spend more time in, like, old towns, historical places. They want the authentic food. They want all the experiences. Basically, I can't lie, that's me and my wife.
Sorry, Reza. My younger sister liked Geordie Shore. My darling, why? I think she mostly used it as an escape, essentially. Being a mum and a full-time worker and a nurse. She needed the escape. I don't blame her for it, but Geordie Shore, really? Or The Only Way is Essex? I have tried to shift her in some fashion. It hasn't always stuck. I'll keep on saying each to their own, but oh, my sweetie, why? Don't watch Towie or Benidorm or things like that. It's perpetrating horrible stereotypes of us. It really is. Some of us aren't like that. We're not. At least I don't think I am. Oh, we're perceived as ridiculous on the continent. I know that. We're perceived as ridiculous in our own fucking country. Because, obviously, some people are fucking ridiculous. Some people have positions of power and they have a platform which they can spout their fucking bollocks. Case in point, Manfrog. I want to change that narrative. I hope I'm trying my best. I really do. Thank fuck for that, Reza. Thank fuck.
I am basically one of these pricks. And like, you know, they're very interesting, but I think what is more interesting is to talk about the middle-class Brit abroad that has its own specific name, a unique category that only they can put themselves in, and that is the expats. Nice to meet you, Jose. Yes, I am an expat of the nation of Britain. You might have heard of it. Basically, this is the term for like a typically European wealthy person who is an immigrant, but often because we're white, we get our own special term that's like less scary than the word immigrant. Expats are, you know, it's a big category and it can be broken down into different types of expats, all of which have different connections to the country they are currently in. Firstly, we'll start off with the digital nomad. This is the new class, right? This came out, new update, new meta. Never used to exist, but now, because you can work on your MacBook, you will find digital nomads in various remote working locations all around the world. Bali, Chiang Mai, Thailand, Costa Rica, they're everywhere. What stands out with these lot is they have a very transient relationship with the nation they're in. It's unlikely that they'll live in that nation for the rest of their life. One thing that kind of...
Correct, they do. Funny that, they are still immigrants though. Maybe educating these people might be beneficial. Who knows?
Shows this is the language in which they will speak about traveling. They'll typically list nations as like bullet points on itinerary, and you hear it a lot in the term to do a country, right? You'll hear it like, oh yeah, we're going to do Thailand for 2 years. Oh, we done Brazil for 2 months. We are doing Bali. The digital nomad is interesting because they aren't exclusively British. Many of them are, but they are often a very international bunch, but they tend to have a very similar sort of cosmopolitan, maybe middle-class young professional type culture. They tend to have very shared interests. Maybe they're all into like yoga, drinking matcha.
Oh, I'm reading this one out. We absorbed these stereotypes since the 1800s. Correct. It's been hammered into everyone and we don't realise. Some of us do. Yeah, quite a lot of us don't though, unfortunately. Again, I am here to educate. See if I can spread this message out. We've broken free of it. We're still controlled by it, obviously, but we know the truth. We speak the truth, hopefully. In certain aspects, at least. But yeah. It's been like this since the mid-1750s, like the mid-1700s, like 1750 and 1760 onwards. This has been embedded, obviously, because the British Empire is brilliant. Obviously. Britannia rules the waves and all that other fucking bollocks.
Maybe they do a bit like kickboxing, or they have some sort of vague spirituality involving some rocks or something. And I do notice with these lot, they do attempt to connect with local culture, but often it feels somewhat commodified. So they might be spiritual, but probably they're not going to go to like the local temple that the locals go to, but rather they might attend some, I don't know, Reiki healing session led by some Swiss person who used to work in marketing but got burnt out and moved to Bali. And you know, they might like some of the art of the culture. They might get tattoos. Oh shit. Your boy got a Thailand tattoo. I am literally this person. They may also engage with some of the traditional fashion of the local community, but it will be in a more stylized, hip, sort of Western way. Typically, they don't really learn the language. They might learn some hellos, goodbyes, thank yous, and they're not going to try and assimilate and integrate into the actual culture. Like, they're not going to be out on the fields working, planting fruit and all that. They may sometimes eat local food, but they're probably not going to eat where the locals eat. And very likely they will also eat a lot of Western cuisine, avocados and eggs and all the stereotypes. And the biggest divide really is the living situation. They're never going to live with the locals. They will rent or maybe even buy very modern Western style accommodation, usually beautiful places that they would never afford back home. And yeah, the locals themselves could never afford these types of places. And I would say the digital nomad, unlike the colonial mindset, they won't necessarily talk down on the locals or local culture. They probably don't see them as inferior, or they don't speak of them as inferior, and to some extent they may even admire them and probably do have some sympathy for them. However, when it really comes to it, the digital nomad of course benefits from their Western budgets, their Western passports, and they bring with them all of their styles, businesses, food and culture, and often build it in these digital nomad places, and the locals have to adapt their own culture, right? I went to a community farm in Bali and they had to market it using Western social media written in English to advertise to Westerners to come there and get a little tour around the farm and try the food and kind of make it themselves, but not really do the hard work. And the reason they have to do this in the first place is because these traditional organic local farms are being outcompeted by rich people buying up lots of farms, turn them into factory farms to grow enough fruit and veg to supply the restaurants to sell to the digital nomads. And all the while, the locals really don't reap much benefit from it. They're often forced out of living in where they grew up, and they live in very poor, low-quality housing. So whilst it's not exactly the same as old-school colonialism, it very much rhymes with it. It looks very similar. It's more like an enlightened liberals version of colonialism, where ironically for these digital nomads, they are trying to escape the oppression of their nation, where their wages would not afford them a high-quality life, and they are cashing in on the inherent privilege of being a Westerner with a powerful passport, using that to escape their exploitation back home to travel to a poor country and exploit someone else in their land.
The initial plan was to travel 9 months up to 1 year and then go back and work. But 2.5 years are gone and I've still got enough money to keep traveling, and I'm making more money as I travel now.
And so with digital nomads out the way, we move on to our next category, and that is the European expat. So typically a lot of older expats will just move to like Southern Europe, where it's not as cheap as say Bali, but the infrastructure is a bit better. It's a bit more similar to European culture, and they can kind of expect a certain standard of life that maybe out in Bali they wouldn't get. And the culture is more similar. They haven't got to challenge themselves so much. Typically the European expat will show up in something like the burnt out city worker who's moving his kids, his whole family out to Spain, Portugal, France in the hope for a better life.
It's been 18 months since partners Peter Thompson and Lee Bradford came here to live.
It's been a good move.
definitely. I don't say I desperately miss Watford.
We enough money to live, and we spend most of the day in the sunshine.
But they also will show up in retired Brits. You know, they might have sold off their house, they have a pension, and they want to basically spend all their money before they die drinking wine and sitting on the beach.
An hour from Alicante on the Costa Blanca. This is not Spain as the Spanish know it.
Oriela Costa, as they call it. It's all ex-British.
If you walk about, you hear a lot of English spoken, do you?
Yes, yes you do.
Yeah. Much more than Spanish.
Orihuela Costa has been likened to a giant retirement village. Rows of near-identical houses, home to perhaps one of the biggest concentrations of expat Brits anywhere.
And often when they're asked about why they wanted to move abroad, they say the same sort of thing.
Thanks, Gemma. Thank you as always. Peace, Australian. Bye, darling. Stay hydrated. Self-care is good care. Look after yourself. I hope you're doing well. Stay based. Free Palestine. And keep on laughing that Dixon voted that absolute cunt out. I might actually show that again. Bye, sweetie. Some people can't afford to be a tourist. Praise be, Natok. Hi, Natok. Welcome. Some people can't afford to be a tourist, oddly enough. I will be a tourist with my own country. There's plenty of places here in Scotland that I need to get to, obviously. I would love to get abroad, don't get me wrong about that one. They don't have funds. Boo. What I would do, I would say to other people from other countries, come over here, bring your culture to me. Tell me what it is like. Come here and have a drink with me. Be it a cocktail, a pint of beer. Or just a vodka or something. It is sacred. It is. Obviously, I've got friends in the 6 counties. Remember, there is only Ireland. Thank you. And I've got friends all over Ireland. I need to get back over there, actually. There's plenty of things that I need to do in Dublin and Belfast and up in Ballycastle and places like that, and Letterkenny. Super Hubby's granddad, his mum's dad. Donegal Town or Letterkenny, I believe. So I need to go over to Donegal. Well, my stepdad's family are from Donegal. So I've already got a place that I'd be going to stay in. Essentially, there's a hotel that my stepdad's cousin owns. Family, the entire family. So I've got a hotel already based in Donegal. Base of operations. Talking to comrades and people of that nature. So get over to Donegal, no fucking problem.
They say they left Britain for a better quality of life, for a slower pace of life, in search of proper community, commuting, competing in the rat race. In a sense, they are trying to escape the British class system. But the thing is,
that happens here in Glasgow as well, Reza. It's fun, isn't it? So many Irish. So many Irish Republicans and comrades, if you get my drift. Quite a lot of them here in Glasgow, actually. It is rather fun.
that's what they say. But once they are there, the expats aren't like all the same. They don't all live the same type of life. And they can often be split into a few categories. Number one, the coastal comfort crew. These lot tend to live in apartments or villas on the costas. They play golf all day, they go to markets. These are like your old orange, wrinkly Brit who has lived in Spain a while.
This seemed to me to be the ideal retirement place. Each house is different, so all of the houses are unique. Nobody has the same house, really. You've got all the lovely flowers, the trees, the greenery, the outside pool. At the moment, I consider it to be a little paradise, yes.
And they mainly engage in like British culture. They go to British bars, British restaurants, they'll buy British newspapers, they will join Brits in Spain Facebook groups and social groups, organising activities. Then you get another group, right? The separatists, the rural idyll crew. These lot are a little bit more remote and a little bit more separate than the coastal comfort crew. They tend to live more inland than in the coast, and they tend to buy like old crumbling farmhouses. And they'll talk often about getting more space, trying to be more in nature, trying to get real village life. And these lot, they tend to actually work still. So they might set up like an Airbnb, might do some self-employment. And what's quite...
Correct, Reza. Yeah. Funny how this works, isn't it? Good home base here in the UK. I'm all for it. Bring it on. I'm here promoting it. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to go and visit other countries across the globe, to absorb their culture, to talk to the locals, to talk to people who have been living there for centuries, whose family have been there for forever. Just like my family's been here for forever. Hello, I'm a Pict. I was born and brought up in Perth. My ancestry on my mum's side is Pictish. And kinda Protestant and kinda Catholic is kinda weird. We rebelled against the British Empire, obviously for many, many different reasons. You can all imagine them, obviously. They've been, well, broadcast essentially. I'm here to promote the best for the Scottish people and to promote the best for this individual. Hello. Broken human being here. Hello. I'm here trying to change things. I hope I am working well, at least. That is up for you to decide, obviously.
What's funny is when they're interviewed, both of these groups tend to sort of judge and quietly slag each other off.
We're living in Singapore. We should live in Singapore. We shouldn't live in some kind of mock hotel nearer to the city. So moving out here into the suburbs was absolutely the right move.
The coastal crew sort of say, you know, we just wanted a bit of sun. We're just being ourselves, you know, we're being British. And it's those weird inland expats who try and pretend that they're locals and that they're better than us. And then when you ask the inland people, they will differentiate themselves from the coastal lot because they say that they're not the Brits that came here to just experience Britain in the sun. They say that they wanted a real feel of the country, the culture. And they will often judge the coastal British enclave types as not integrated into local culture. But a big part of the power dynamic tends to be around who needs to work and who doesn't. Because some of these expats have to rent. Some of them don't. Some of them buy places out there. Some of them have big places out there and places back in Britain. Some have generous pensions and investments that pay them, you know, good amount of money. Others of them have to work and they set up businesses. Usually businesses that are focused on British people. Bars, salons, even estate agents. And that's like a business owner, but then below them there's Brits expats that have to do more like manual work. Jobs for cash where, you know, they might be cleaners, bar staff, brickies, pool guys. And very interestingly, the comfortable expats tend to hire the more precarious expats. So they will hire British gardeners, British cleaners, British handymen doing jobs around the villa. And so while they were trying to escape the rat race and the class system, a new mini class system starts to emerge here. Because if you look at who actually hangs out together, it basically all reverts back to people with the similar amount of money who...
our culture is so deeply ingrained at this point. It just makes me laugh constantly. It's fucking ridiculous. Christ's sake. You move out of basically the colonial and imperialist heartland, the UK, and you move over to look at southern France, Spain, Singapore, Indonesia, fucking Australia, and you create your own enclaves, which are essentially Britain, but not in Britain. It's endlessly stupid to me. I keep on laughing at it. Said, why would you do that? I would move to a country to absolutely absorb the culture of that country, their political movements, their social structure, their food, the way they interact with everyone. And you just go over there and create a mini Britain? Why? If you wanted Britain, don't move, just stay in Britain. I get it, you want to get out of the drizzling rain, the horrible weather, and the actual neoliberal hellscape that it is here. But then you go and create it in another country? Why? Yeah, it makes no fucking sense, does it? Make it make sense, chat, please. I beg of yous. Why? I would go to these countries to absorb their culture, experience it, actually learn from it, to see if I can bring back parts of it to our country, to make our country better. Apparently not. No, we just go over there and take parts of the British Empire to these places again. Why? They rejected us for a reason.
Did the similar jobs back in Britain with similar tastes, similar politics, they tend to group together. So instead of the British expat going to Spain to escape the judgments of the British class system, they effectively just rebuild it.
I've lived in Australia for 13 years now.
Right.
And what I've seen the differences between Australia and England, well, I don't want to say it, but we don't let them in over here, you know. We stop the boats. We don't stop the boats.
Well, they let you in, Roger.
Well, they let me in, but it's different when I get in, isn't it? So, you know, we built this country.
And I want to just say finally, right, you know, why I find this interesting. There is really something you can learn from the Brit abroad. Is that between all of this chaos, the snobbery, the fry-ups, the Brit abroad really can act a bit like a mirror. A mirror that shows us how deep some of these old imperial mindsets, how much they can remain inside the way we think and the way we behave. We can see how our class system travels with us, how old colonial habits still shape global imbalances of power. And I think, you know, if that legacy, you know, can follow me on a Ryanair flight, where else is it showing up in the world? And where else is it still causing damage? Being British makes the world easier in ways that most people don't get to enjoy. That is an enormous privilege. And my point here isn't like to shame ourselves, but rather just to notice that and be aware of it, and maybe to develop a bit more self-awareness and laugh at ourselves. And maybe the next time we go abroad, instead of comparing everything to the British standard, maybe we can humble ourselves. Maybe we don't have to pass so much judgment, and maybe we can listen a bit more. So next time you're projectile vomiting in a toilet in Shagaloof, and you get up and you look in the mirror, you can realize that you are staring directly in the eyes of the last surviving relic of the British Empire.
And then you have people coming to our country and they're throwing paddies about having our flag up. Why can't they come to our country and just respect our views?
We want to drink as much as we damn well can.
It's only, you know, when it's a foreign policeman, I think it agitates them more.
You decide to come and live in Benidorm?
You'll probably edit it out because there's too many foreigners in the UK.
If you enjoyed that video, be sure to support me on Patreon. It massively helps the channel. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.